Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 7 of the Hump Day Chin Wag. And I am, as always, the Tomby. And thank you very much to everybody that's currently in chat. Plenty of you see you there. Good evening, welcome, or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are watching in the world. So I'm going to apologize straight off the bat. Microphone issues, so just bear with me. I'll try and talk a little bit louder than normal just to make sure that I'm coming across okay. But I'm getting absolutely zero feedback back into my headset, like I normally do, to make sure that I'm coming out okay. But without much further ado, let's get cracking with the knacking. Let's bring on the boy Smoo.
Hello,
how you doing, brother?
What's good? Doing good. Doing good. Got my trusty old coffee mug with me, so I'm doing good, man. Living the dream. Last 4 weeks have been weird. I felt a little bit down the last couple of days, and then all of a sudden I got like a little glimpse of hope, and ever since then it has gone all the way up. I don't know what happened, but I call shenanigans.
So good
other than
news,
that, doing good. Good news, yeah. And I cannot wait to trash some crap TV. I can't wait.
Yep. I think
I've also got my trusty pocket pussy with me as always. He's accompanying me today. So
pocket pussy.
He'll be watching you, chat.
I've got my working from home because basically that's all I do is work from home. So yeah, working from home and the Employee of the Year award. And I've only just finished my dinner, so.
To be fair, you are the Employee of the Year, mate.
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like I deserve an award. Maybe another milkshake. I've already finished this lumpy Five Guys banana milkshake. So that was my treat today.
Did you shake it properly?
Amazing. Oh, mate,
did you shake it properly?
So good going down. I mean, it's something that Jack recommended to me because he said it does taste like Five Guys. So, yeah, I mean, cheers, Jack. Thanks for the recommendation.
Did you add some special whipped cream into that one? I just put some extra whipped cream in.
I just hope it was the right Five Guys. He'll be able to tell me in a minute. Right. Next, Stasis Geek.
Hey. I'm completely the opposite. I'm the opposite. I was having a great day, a great week, and then this afternoon I watched the Acolyte, and then that gave me.
I'm not saying nothing, mate. I did try warning you. As soon as
do it for pain. Do it for my own pain. Lucky I'm not invested in Star Wars.
I was like, mate, he is gonna freaking hate this TV program. But yeah, there you go.
Enough said on that. But awesome. I just gotta say, look at this t-shirt.
Bright Star.
Is that new?
No, my girlfriend got it a while ago, but it's just awesome. Every time I watch it, I'm like, yes.
Because I miss TV programs like Brave Star, Jason the Wheel Warriors. What else did we have? Ulysses, Centurions, Mask, GoBots,
I love Mask.
Transformers. Oh, they were the days, weren't they? They were the days. It's amazing. Cool. Happy days. Good to see you, my friends. Good to see you. Yeah. Right. Natty McBatty, a milkshake sounds good. I really recommend having Five Guys, Natty. Go get
a manly milkshake.
Five Guys. Yes.
What do you order? What do you order when at the drive-thru? Then what do you order? How do you get a manly milkshake?
You just
the special sauce.
Ask for the special one. And
Winston
as long as you can reach far enough that you can reach over for the reach around, it's fine. You get exactly what you need.
Fair enough.
But let's introduce our next lovely contestant. It's Greg.
Hi.
He looks
I was just
what are you doing here, Greg?
I wasn't expecting that. I'm lurking in the background.
Lurking and jerking.
I was just thinking that you might be getting a bit of a nostalgia trip for your days in the army, getting a milkshake from Five Guys.
How did you know that? I know Stasis does. Stasis loves his Five Guys milkshakes all over his face. I mean look.
That's no secret,
how does he get the moisture into his hair?
He rubs it in. Yay!
Have you seen?
He can't hear us, which is great. He cannot hear us at all.
Probably best. Move along.
It's probably for the best.
The jizz conditioner. Right. Anyway, let's move over to our man of the year, Mr. Olive Oil himself.
Hello there.
Jack
How's
Tyler.
everyone
How you
doing? I have no idea what this man is talking about. I never suggested that. I told him to get 10 guys, not 5 guys.
Oh,
10 guys. Rookie fucking numbers, 5 guys, bro.
I thought you just
Gotta
said
get 10 guys.
Order 2 of these, not order 10 guys. I thought it was 5 guys twice. Oh shit!
Kind of is. Don't forget, ladies. You know he's got a high sperm count if you have to chew before you swallow.
Yeah. Yeah. If you end up gagging on it.
Got my trusty coffee cup here. We're all ready to go. I watched the Acolyte today.
Oh, mate.
The Acolyte.
A lot of people will be whacking one off after that show.
Oh God, mate! I swear to God, like there was a video the other day, right, of some women doing some really weird like aerobic workout.
Gymnastics. Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't the erotic gymnastics. It was something else. They looked like a coven of mad fucking witches. But I know what you're talking about. It's the same sort of thing that I think Chris Gore put out earlier on today, or one of them anyway.
Yeah.
But it was a completely different one, and that is what that scene reminded me of. As soon as I saw it, all I thought was like the woke left wine moms. That's all I thought was woke left wine moms when I saw that scene. And I'm sure we're going to get into it in a bit anyway, but yeah, Lord have mercy and deliver us.
Indeed. Deliver us from something. Right, the next
evil
is Hanayama.
Hello.
How you doing, dude?
Somehow still living after watching the Shite episode 3, where a bunch of lesbians try to perform a Hadouken.
Oh, mate.
I wanted to bubble myself after that episode, honestly.
There's only so much bullshit I can watch in like a year, and I feel like I've been tapped out from last year's bullshit that we had to deal with.
Yes.
And then you got episode 1, which is fucking shocking. Episode 2, which was, oh, am I awake? And episode 3 is like, really interesting.
But by the way, I would like to issue a funny challenge to anybody. Doesn't matter. Every time in that specific scene when the fucking core of space lesbians do fucking Street Fighter practice, somebody needs to clip this and edit the Hadouken sound effect every time they do the fucking pose. Please, anybody. I don't care who. Somebody needs to remix this.
Well, I'm actually working on getting all my Adobe Suite reinstalled because, I lost my hard drive. Well, now it's completely kaput. So I can't even use my Adobe Suite anymore. So I'm having to get that done. But as soon as that's done, I'll be able to ram it in After Effects and even put the, the actual Hadouken fucking effect in it as well.
That would be even better because then we finally have something actually hitting the poor woman.
Do you know what? I've got a really, really good idea. And just wait until ideally I can get it done by Friday.
Yes,
but it should make everyone's fucking day on Friday. So we'll enter the weekend on a fucking great one, and hopefully it's going to be that first tick in a box of viral shorts for Tomby because it's fucking cracking idea.
Yeah, but
just got to beat every other fucker to it now.
Yeah, no, but it's been like literally a week of disappointment. The Acolyte, fucking Dragon Age. Bleh.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it all, right? Let's bring
Square
on
Headlands, Little Force Baby.
Yeah, pretty much. Abe, can you hear us?
Howdy.
How you doing?
Abe.
Yeah,
how's things,
still
buddy?
breathing.
Rough.
Still breathing, are you?
Yeah, I watched the crapper Shite today as well, along with Stasis.
Mate, it's just so fucking shit, isn't it? It's fucking painful.
It's just boring.
Yeah,
boring.
Nothing happens.
I can't think of one part of it which has been. Oh, do you know what? That was actually all right. Not one bit.
No,
not one bit. Not whether it's not even visuals or sound. I just don't give a shit anymore.
Do you know what? I really feel sorry for some of the actors because some of the actors are very, very, very good actors. And the Korean dude, he learned the language to get in this show, and it is a whole pack of shit. And I do not understand how he's going to move forward from this. I mean, it's like he did the Squid Games, he's done this, and this might be it for him. He might just turn around and say, "No, I've had enough now."
Squid Games on Western Entertainment, at least.
Squid Game season 2 is coming out, so please.
Yeah, but don't count your chickens on that one in terms of it being good. There's no chance. There is no chance that's going to be any good. I'll tell you that now. And we'll
have to wait and see.
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that next week. But I can guarantee, laying a bet down, it's going to be shit. It's going to be shit. But
fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm happy to be proven otherwise. Okay, let's bring on our last person for this evening, unless Jay Tapia gets back home and he wants to jump on.
In time.
It's Shawnee.
Hey, friends.
Hanayama.
I'd like to say, me and Abe, as the only women on this panel, would like to say that we do not claim Leslie Headland or any of the other creators. Formally.
No, that's definitely still
Leslie Headland looks like the stunt double that was acting out for Hagrid in Harry Potter.
She looks like she was birthed by Minecraft Steve.
The Enderman. She was being chased by the Enderman.
Her head has the fucking shape of a Mario swamp.
No, she looks like Herman Munster.
Or like her features are all too close together. Like there's no space between her eyes, nose, and mouth. They're all just.
Paint her green and call her a creeper.
Just a tiny face right in the middle of this square area.
Yeah,
and that's what you get for surviving a trash compactor.
And what a wonderful smell she discovered.
Dr. Frankenstein would be so proud.
Look at that neck. The neck is as wide as the head.
Her neck.
It's a giraffe.
Look at the length of it.
It looks like a toe.
She literally, that is the best description. She looks like a toe.
She looks like one of Brie Larson's toes.
Oh, come on. Don't, give her some credit. But, I mean, it ain't far off.
Brie Larson's big toe, then. Because that one doesn't look as fucked as the rest. Oh,
they're all fucked, either way.
I mean, I'm with Ryan Kinnell on this one. You know, if Brie Larson just wears some socks or some shoes or whatever, sure.
You know what I was thinking of? Maybe, I've seen her face somewhere before, and I think it's from Thomas the Tank Engine. I think she kind of looks like Diesel from Thomas the Tank Engine.
She's got a face like a bag of smashed mice.
Just make a compilation of Leslie Headland pictures and then just add the Thomas the Tank Engine music underneath it.
We've got a lot of regional ways of describing cosmetically.
What, her face?
Yeah, well, we got a lot of regional things. Like she looks like a bulldog licking piss off a thistle.
She looks like duck cut and licking piss off a nettle.
She looks
I'm
like
gonna glue you back together.
She looks like a flame-burnt Lego brick.
I mean, the truth's worse. She looks like a sex pest enabling narcissistic lesbian.
She's a
sources claim her mom stabbed the stork that fucking brought her.
Oh, shocking behaviour. Right, okay, let's get cracking on. Let's get cracking
on. Now that we've hated on Leslie Headland.
Yeah, why not?
Now, before we start,
we hate on everybody equally here, guys.
Before we really start, can I just clear up who's actually the writer on the Acolyte? Is
a
it
bunch
Leslie
of nobodies,
or is it the
and Leslie Headland? Yes.
Yeah, it's a writer's room full of nameless writers, and Leslie Headland gets the credit.
Leslie Headland and her 2 brain cells.
On this episode, she didn't direct it or write it, apparently.
No, it was like some person with one name, wasn't it? It was like the direct, like their fucking Cher or Madonna or something like that.
Was it a partner? I know she's got one of the starring roles.
Yeah, she's the Green Jedi, isn't she? The green-headed Jedi.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad I got out of Star Wars after. What was the last thing I watched? I think it was the 7th movie, which I don't even know what the name is. I just thought, well, that was shite.
Last Jedi?
It was
called?
basically a reboot of number 4, but everything was bigger.
Yeah. That one. I was
Literally.
You lazy fuckers.
Was it
Couldn't even
Force
be bothered.
Awakens?
Yes.
Force Awakens, yeah, Force Awakens.
And to think that was actually the best of that trilogy.
And
I'm glad I missed the others.
It? That's the problem. It was the best out of the 3 that were released, and it just went downhill rapidly. I mean, as soon as
I saw Rogue Squadron, I saw Han Solo movie thingy.
One Solo.
But as soon as you saw space titties, that was enough. That was it.
Rogue Squadron
Space
weren't too
movement.
bad. Not Rogue Squadron, Rogue One. That wasn't
Rogue
too
One.
bad.
Milking. Space
Rogue One was
milking.
fine.
Anyway. Right.
Andor
Yanni is
isn't
back.
too bad.
Yep, Andor was pretty good.
Yes.
I actually liked Andor.
Nope.
Well, one of the best
I must
parts
say,
about it was
I
Andy
found-
Serkis.
Yeah,
I'm
Andy
watching any
Serkis
of
is the
it.
best in it, but I found it
Andy
very
Serkis
less
was great.
offensive because it's the most generic sci-fi Star Wars. So even if you don't look into it as a Star Wars project, it's so generic. I think it fits into that bubble. But we've had so much crap. That's why people go, "Oh, it's good," but it's still a bit. It's still mid. It's still mid.
Episode.
Oh, very.
Mm.
Very.
So
Very.
I
right.
just thought the first episode was boring.
Before we crack on and just go through the Aka shite, plenty of people in
Let's say hello
chat.
to the
Thank you
audience.
very much indeed. So we've got 20 odd people tuned in to watch.
Nice.
Rick, Andy Matthews, Tracy Reeves, Daily Dysfunction, Naima Batty, how you doing? Uncle Martin with the mountain bike. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. I did see, scrolling down, Ickly Pickly.
Professor Savage Dad.
Yeah, Professor Savage Dad's in the house as
How's it going,
well.
Prof?
Good to see you.
Lacey.
Lacey's with us. Lacey's with us.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So plenty of people in chat this evening.
Yeah, it's
And
a
as
good
always-
count this evening. It seems to be
Yeah.
growing every week.
Yeah, it's
Thanks
certainly
for
looks like
joining
it's-
us.
She said that's what she said.
Yeah, it's growing each week, and it's more than we could hope for. And what I always say, usually towards the end, whilst it is hosted on the Zombie channel, it's also cast over onto Smooth's channel. Any of the members of the panel can also cast it to their channels if they
Yes.
want to do that. But make sure you pop into everyone's links that's in the description. Pop in, give them a like, share, follow, and all that good stuff. Believe you me, it helps us all out. Does help
Anonymous
us all out.
is here too.
Yes.
Anonymous, me listening. Andy McBatty just says hi. Yes. How you doing, mate? How you doing? But it's good to see you, Anonymous. Good to see you, my friend. Right, pack of shite makes massive retcon, and this was the highlight of the episode, the absolute highlight of the episode.
Allegedly.
And I know, obviously, for those that haven't watched it, Stasis Geek did do a live reaction to the program today. After the show, I would highly recommend you pop in to go watch that delightful stream because he had so much fun. He looked so happy he could shit.
That would have been better. That would have been better. I've just had literally conversive diarrhea in my pants. That would have been much more exciting than this episode.
Yeah. Robert Harvey,
I'll be honest.
Nurse what? Space babies. Star Wars has Force babies. Yep. How you doing, Robert? It's good to see you.
I mean, I'll be honest. We have so much shit coming out at the moment. I'm actually kind of glad that something good is, hopefully good, is coming out relatively soon. And that's all I'm waiting for at the moment because there's a lot of crap out there. I'm literally watching like old stuff just to cleanse my palate from all this dumb shit I have to watch recently.
So, needless to say, the title says it all. The Acolyte makes massive retcon to Star Wars lore, reveals lesbian space witches actually created life from the Force long before Darth Plagueis. Yes, fantastic. All to the tune of...
Who created the lesbian space witches?
well, probably their daddies, like normal fucking mummies
If they
and daddies.
created life in the galaxy, then
That's not what they said, though, did it?
yeah, so they created life.
Yeah, created
Okay,
specific life.
so in a
Oh,
rare
right,
turn,
specific life, right? Okay.
A specific life. Yeah.
in a rare turn of events, I'm actually going to defend this slightly. Is it
How so?
retconning? just because in Revenge of the Sith, the Emperor turns around and says, "Oh yeah, Darth Plagueis the Wise, he was able to manipulate." Well, who's saying that there isn't like Force people or people who could use the Force previously, other than Darth Plagueis, especially 1,000 years before? Yeah, who says that it isn't possible? You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a retcon; it's just new lore that they've added. So yes, while Darth Plagueis did actually create a Force baby, they can do it too. And the other thing I'll say as well is people have been going on about like the lightsabers being like super, super thick. It's like, well, yeah, it's 1,000 years ago. You'd think that they refined lightsabers over 1,000 years and made them more thinner and more, adaptable to the hand, etc., etc. So I think sometimes
floppy ones then.
I think sometimes. Oh, we're yet to see those, aren't we? But I mean, that's obviously a load of bullshit because we know how physics works, but not in this Star Wars where you can have fires in space and bendy light.
I'm going to defend it as well. Dun dun dun. In the show, they don't say how they were made. All it says was I carried it, you created it. Yeah. It could have been some kind of IVF things. They don't actually say in the show, and everybody's going on to it, space lesbians. They don't show they're in a lesbian relationship or any sexual relationship. They call all of them mothers, near enough. You put the subtitles on, they do that. So that, it could be anything. I'm guessing they're going to play on that outside, because that's what Leslie Headland likes doing, is playing the gay card. And then trying to push that confrontation between the fans. But in the show, they're very vague of how it actually happened. Now, for the Plagueis side of it, the Plagueis thing is in Legends and in comics that he actually did create life, but he failed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that bit is a bit vague because George Lucas always said, unless it's on screen, it's not canon. So yeah, that side of it, you're completely correct. There might have been somebody 3,000 years ago who managed to do a space dog, out
but at the same time, right, they do turn around, she does turn around and say, like, I carried the baby, and then the black one turns around and says, yeah, but I made the babies. Yeah. And then she says, yeah, but let's make sure that the Jedi don't find out how you made those babies or whatever the fuck it was. So, you're right, it is very vague.
Made in a lab. Yeah, it could have been made in a lab. It could have been like her getting, source material off a Sith. Yeah, that was in hiding, the one we see, or a Dark Jedi or whatever. It could have been a manipulation out of the Night Sisters. Like, I'm guessing these are supposed to be a offset of that. But I've got it down there, in the Jedi code book, what is now not canon, they have different sets of Force users. There's not just the Jedi, because the galaxy's big. So I can understand in this show that you would have a different Force users. They call themselves the Coven or whatever they want to call them. And it could be one of the offsets of Force users that the Jedi haven't found yet in the Outer Rim. Why? The problems are with this show is, why are they there? Why did the Jedi turn up? Because it's on the Outer Rims. It's like somewhere they shouldn't be accessible for them.
Well, I think this is probably a nod to the use of dark magic and science that they used in Episode 9 to recreate the Emperor's body. And all of the clones.
Well, that's what they're all going to try and fit it into that, aren't they? They're going to try and make sense of what they're to push the Rey movie. I'm guessing they're going to try. It's always that let's make sense of it. Let's get it on track for the next big movie. But they can't. They've cocked it up so much. Starting with Rian Johnson, he cocked it up so much. Anybody else is trying to fix that mistake. And then what they did with Rise of Skywalker, it's just like, it was kind of, well, how did he come back? What did they say? It's just, he just came back, bloody blah. It's just like, doesn't matter. Now they're trying to retcon their own retcons, but nobody's got the talent to kind of go, no, this is how we can do it. So it all makes sense, because they're trying to double down on the mistakes they already did. And this show is just crap, though. To be honest, even if you take out all the mistakes, it took like around about 13 minutes for them to actually have some serious dialogue in this actual show. And then that was even dribble.
whilst they're all trying to repair Rian Johnson's mistakes, don't forget someone else actually authorized it to go fucking live.
Yep.
Someone else signed off on
problem.
it. Someone else signed off on the story and said, "Oh yeah, this is amazing. Best thing since sliced bread. Let's put it in the cinemas." Wankers.
Well, they just went go for it, don't they, with him? Like, oh, you think you must be good? Like Kathleen Kennedy should be sacked. Anybody else in that high job, anywhere else would have been sacked. How many flops? How much money she's lost? You know, it's just showing something in the background. I've always said it. It's the black book hidden away, and it's literally a diabolical how she's head of something that she's completely flop. Everybody has downgraded their love of whatever IP they've got. If it's, you know, Indiana Jones, Willow, or Star Wars, they've gone blah, 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 or, you know, it's literally that. And now it's got a untalented activist writing or directing Star Wars who blatantly cannot direct because it's literally like a low budget. You can't direct anyone. They're just acting and not doing anything. The cinematography is disgraceful. Whoever signed off the music, Star Wars is known for their epic music. This is so lame. It doesn't
in
make
this
it feel
episode.
like Star Wars.
It is. I've got to admit, in this episode, like the way that they're chanting and that fucking stupid like "Power of One, Power of Many" song that they did, that was ridiculous. But I am of the opinion that the look and feel of Star Wars is there. The effects are not bad. The sound design is good. All of it sounds like Star Wars. All right. So this episode didn't really look like Star Wars that much, but like in the previous two episodes, the set design still isn't bad. The costume design is pretty less than mid. You know, I can't say that the costume design is great. But in terms of look and feel, it's got all the member berries there. But the writing is absolutely diabolical. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't flow very well. But the one thing I will say about the entire episode, this episode, it kind of feels like that someone was writing about their own personal experiences. And I'll tell you what I mean. You've got two girls who are kind of being groomed into believing that they should be a part of this witch coven, yeah? And the one girl doesn't want to be a witch, and she's sort of being groomed and you know, persuaded by everyone else that this is what she wants and that she's got to lie and etc. etc. And then all of a sudden these white knights come in and save the day and take the one girl away, you know, to a better place. Now, it feels like someone's writing about their own personal experiences within the movie industry.
Unfortunately, the writing's so bad, it felt like it's the opposite, and it felt like somebody's at Waco. And that's the problem. They didn't, if they did what you said just there, I could understand that they're being problematic, but they tried to make the coven, who felt like a cult, and the stuff they were saying was so cult-like, it just felt like, you need to be rescued. But they tried, as you say, they tried to reverse it, and you're the victim, you need, and you're trying to get out of it. But they haven't established that because you're so bad at writing, and it just doesn't fit. And then the bits they do have dialogue on is just pointless. When they do talk, it's not fitting around the, I suppose, like you want to call it, the narrative they're trying to portray. It's just absolutely rubbish. If you're going to go hard and do this, like, let's just say Leslie Headley, and everybody's going to say it. It's like, I'm gay, I'm the victim. Then push for that. You can actually make that a good short story. We've had that. There are films out there, TV shows that are well written. This is just diabolical. It's just a mess. This bit. It does make you laugh. It just made my eyes roll back in my head.
I legitimately burst out laughing at this chant in this song. I mean, it was truly just brutal.
You have to see it to believe it, though.
I have not seen any of it.
Have you got the subtitles on? It makes it even funnier.
Like the GDC conference. Cringe.
And the song of just repeating it in the back. icing on the cake of shit. It's terrible.
You know what's even funnier? They think they've got something epic going on.
Yeah.
And what was the deal with that one woman doing all those jihad screams?
Yeah, Jack. So as I'm
Durka,
watching
Durka.
this
That's a jihad.
the episode,
Hang on, I can't hear anything that anyone's saying. What's that called?
So as I was watching the episode and that woman just started screaming, I actually took my headphones off to check out the window because I thought something was outside of my house. It came out of absolutely nowhere.
I would have too.
By surprise.
I
And then I
thought
realized
Diane Abbott,
screams right in the
Diane
middle of
Abbott
the
was
script.
outside the door.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
Yeah, the whole thing was just pure cringe.
And to add to the point, I think Jack and Stasis were just making about it potentially maybe kind of being that kind of experience they were writing into the show. I'm not even sure I can give them that much credit that it was in the idea of OSHA needed to be saved from this group, because they seem to be writing it in a way that makes you want to believe that the Jedi are the bad guy in this, and that this covenant of witches is actually, or Wiccan, whatever the hell the term would probably be for that. That these witches are actually the good guys in all this. And
Leslie Headland's on camera saying that she would be Sith if she was. If she had a lightsaber, it would be red because she's Team Sith.
Yeah, by the way, I have a question.
That this is the good guys, and it's actually the Jedi that are bad. But every single thing you see from the actions of these witches to May, that twin May, is seemingly telling you the opposite if you have a sane brain and you're watching this show. And the Jedi are, as the Jedi should be, the good guys, but they're trying so hard to force this narrative that they're actually the bad ones. And it doesn't connect with the viewer who's watching this. It doesn't make sense because you see the Jedi as the good ones.
I think what they're trying to say is Jedi are bad because they take young kids away from their loved ones without their say-so, even though they even counteract that we won't test them unless you have permission.
Right.
And it's known in everything else. They can say no, and then the problem is what we know all the way through Star Wars, these kids are too old to be trained.
Right.
Even if they knew him, they would have left them there.
What made Anakin so special for his training or his acceptance into being trained, which is
But by the way, there's a funny
Qui-Gon Jinn said, I will, I'm doing it anyway. And then Obi-Wan said, I'm going to lead the council if you don't let me train him. So
I suppose
there was a bit of things. Yeah.
I suppose the question comes, at what point in time did they actually make the rules up with regards to how young or how old a child could actually be? Because this is 1,000.
Maybe they made the rule after.
This is 1,000 years before.
I'll find out.
A lot of that's
fair
enough. I would argue afterwards, honestly.
And I think a great point there of this idea of Jedi being the bad ones is exactly like Stasis says. In the episode, they're very respectful. They're coming in peace. They're trying to work with them. They're establishing that there is law. There is, they have the Jedi have the right to test for sensitive children in that regard, where it's not, it's something that, but they're still being respectful in terms of with your permission and we want to test them and see. And again, they make this narrative that they want to steal the kids, but OSHA wants to go with them from the very beginning. You even see it in part of the Ascension scene where OSHA is showing this, apprehension about going through with this process because she really doesn't seem to want to. She can sense that something's odd with this cult, even though it is her family, however you want to look at it, cult or family or covenant, whatever you want to call it. You can sense some apprehension in her because there's something off, and she can sense it, and May obviously does, and she's along with it. And just the whole, the blurring of good and evil. And there's that line where the main mother says, it's not about good or evil, it's about power and who controls it. Mm-hmm. The idea that they want to blur the line of of good and evil is so in the face of what Star Wars stands for, because it is entirely about good and bad, light and dark, and the balance between the choices one makes to fall on either side. It's bizarre to me.
I just want to point out that in the last episode, the OSHA, she turns around to Squid Game, and she says that there were 4 Jedi stationed on Kadath or whatever the fucking name was stationed on Kadath.
Hang on, station Greg.
Hang on, listen, right? There was Greg. Hang on a second. There was 4 Jedi stationed on the planet, and she wants to kill all 4 of you. And she names the 4 Jedi. But in this episode, it turns out that they just sort of turned up.
Yeah.
At Kadath or whatever the fucking name of the planet is.
They were pissed off because they didn't ring the doorbell.
Yeah, basically.
Doorbell.
Oh, and another thing that I noticed, right? So last episode where the Jedi with the really terrible beard kills himself. Of course, we find out in this episode it's the guy who played Tommen Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
that.
it's the kid who played Tommen Baratheon in Game of Thrones, and he killed himself in that fucking series too.
Ironic, isn't it?
Typecasting.
Maybe get typecast.
Yeah, but here's
like
the
a
all
Sean
here's the
Bean
all important
situation.
question. Here's the all important question. Can we now make the joke that a bunch of people died in an OSHA accident?
Yes. Yes.
Kind
Yes,
of.
we can.
Also, what I think
OSHA fucked up royally.
is they, from the first two episodes, you hear, I think it might have been the first episode when May challenges Andorra on Ueda, that planet there. She says something along the lines of, Jedi don't harm people, or something along those lines, where May responds with, yes, you do. May, you created all this death and all this violence. It was solely you. The Jedi had nothing to do with this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
at this point,
it
they had
goes back
nothing
to like
do with any of the violence.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
going to go back to.
Sorry,
it's
go
gonna
ahead.
go back to what? Sorry, it's going to go back to what Jack said, or I think it was thinking about grooming, isn't it? Like about the two girls, because that's the only way they can fix that is that May is going to have to be groomed by the dark side and actually get like manipulated in. It's like saying, "Oh, if the Jedi didn't turn up, you would have been with your sister," or something stupid like that. And then she goes on a mad run. But then that doesn't make sense because she finds her sister in episode 2. So that would have ended it if she thought she was dead.
No, the problem is as well, she turns around to the fucking beardy guy. Yeah, she turns around to fucking Tommen Baratheon and she says, you're going to take this fucking what's it? And then he comes down from his little like perch, his force perch. He sits on the floor. He says, "We thought we were doing the right thing." You were doing the right thing.
You
wasn't.
were.
What the fuck are you talking about? It turns out that you didn't do anything wrong anyway. Why did you take that fucking poison, you twat?
It is stupid unless they do another flashback of something that happened afterwards. But then, even then, you're like, to that episode, you're like, but you didn't do anything wrong. You turned up as a Padawan under the direction of the Jedi Knights and a Master, and then you went, and I'm off, and then you don't see him. He gets a little bit manipulated, a bit with the black eyes, controlled, falls to the knees, and then you don't really see him again, except for when he takes the midichlorian test. And then they don't show the results of that.
Right.
And then that's it. And then, so he was guilty. Why? Enough to go, I've been in my trance for 10
I've been living with this.
Yeah.
He's guilty of being a white guy
10 years in a
then,
mind trance. Oh, it's stupid.
Even then, let's just say we assume that they figure out how to write a story somewhere in this season, and we find out that there was some part that the Jedi played in some kind of violence towards May in her life. One, we have to assume that that's not true because at this point, none of them knew she was even alive until Andorra finds her on Ueda and then Sol sees her. So, but let's just assume somehow they work in some good writing where we find out the Jedi did something wrong to May afterwards. What the hell could it possibly have been that's worse than you having killed your entire family that you've lived with all this time? Like, there's still nothing they could have done to have him be the one saying the line of, having this guilt and feeling like he did something wrong versus her who literally killed her entire family. I mean, the logic behind it makes little to no sense, if any at all. It was mind-blowingly stupid. And then you have there's just such basic fundamental things wrong with it, from dialogue that's god-awful, acting.
Oh, don't forget the other other Coven woman. Don't forget that other, the Coven woman who just appears out of nowhere. We haven't seen her anywhere, and then all of a sudden, this fucking old Coven woman alien that looks like the fucking face of Bo
out of
from Doctor Who. Do you know what I mean?
But they needed some elder, wiser person to be able to come in with some wisdom. It's like, we had no idea this character existed. Why are we listening to her as if she's like Gandalf coming in with some wisdom? There's no back.
Then it would have made sense if she was the Grand Witch, but they didn't make sense. They made out the mum who created her, like
Gandalf,
the Grand thing.
The show.
Oh, but it's terrible.
I know I came in a little late, but I did catch a little bit of Stasis, your point, slightly pushing back on the idea of the I do think it's a little bit overstated with the Force babies and all that. I do think it's a bit overstated because they did definitely leave it vague enough that it could be, some kind of clone something or other, who knows. So I do think that's being a little bit overstated. But
they've done it themselves. They've done it themselves.
No, absolutely.
They've pushed that narrative.
Right. They wanted this reaction to come out because
Yeah.
they probably figured the rage is better than people not watching it all.
Yeah.
So I do think a little bit that's being overstated in terms of it, completely messes the lore in that regard, because we don't still technically know. There's a good chance it will. They'll elaborate more, and it will. And by the way it's going, it's very likely that happens. But at this point, I think it's being just slightly overstated. But that doesn't mean that it's not a god awful show in many other ways as well.
Okay, so I just want to respond to that. Sorry, Zombie. I just want to respond to that, because this is what I've got a problem with. I understand that it's some YouTube streamers' bread and butter to sort of focus on all of the shit that is in the show, but when you're finding things that aren't actually being said, and when you're finding things that aren't actually happening, or that they're you're starting to reach, and I understand it's your bread and butter that you got to try to sort of like keep up a narrative and a bit of content, but you've got to also be honest about it. Do you know what I mean? You can't just go around saying that the entire show is complete and utter shit, even though a lot of it is shit. You can't just like pick random things out of the air and go, oh, look at the fucking lightsabers. Look at how thick the lightsabers are. And look, they're talking about force babies and what's going to come next, fucking force dogs. It's like, come on. That's not what anyone's saying. No, we're saying that the writing is shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're saying that the story doesn't make sense.
The product is,
the
but
thing is,
like Saul,
away
from example, I think is a good thing to take from it. I do like the Saul character to a degree. I don't think he's been the smartest, most consistent character. I think in episode,
he's the only one acting. He's the only one trying to act.
Exactly, and that's one thing I can say. I like his acting. He's giving me some emotional feel in his scenes. I do like that character a bit. It's like you do have to call it as you see it and be fair. And when there's good, call it, or decent to good, call it decent to good. I think the overall product can still be shit, but there are some things to take, like Jack said, I think earlier, there's some look to it, at least more so in the first 2 episodes. There is a bit of a Star Wars look to it, a Star Wars sound, which has been okay. Mm-hmm. You can take that for what it is. Is it enough to outweigh all the shit that's happening? No, not by any means. There are a few things to take, but even Saul, who I like in episode 2, there's that scene where he, they're crafting a plan to kind of trick the guy that May is working with into revealing some information. And Yord comes up with a pretty standard plan of let's surround the place, let's take him captive, then we question him on the ship. And then the little Padawan, whose name I can't remember, just kind of blows him off as if that's like the dumbest thing she's ever heard, and goes, "Oh well,
yeah,
we could just have her
have a name."
She wouldn't be able to. She doesn't know her sister's mannerisms, her sister's relationship with this guy, how they speak to each other. That's not a good plan. That wouldn't be passable.
But it wasn't a good plan because he knew.
Says, "Oh yeah, that's the better plan. Let's go with it." So even Saul's character, who I've liked, has had some inconsistencies in logic.
Yeah, and by the way, quick interjection for Jack, because I just looked it up because I could have sworn I heard it in an interview, and yes, the Acolyte does not take place 1,000 years ago. The Acolyte takes place 110 years before before episode 1, so before the Phantom Menace. And
BBY, 150 years BBY.
Yeah, so it has been said that since the times of the Old Republic, the way the lightsaber is constructed has not been changed, and the Old Republic is far beyond what the current timeline is of 110 years ago. So,
well, there we go.
They just fucked up how thick the fucking grips are.
There is a reason, and it is a very simple reason, and this is what I don't like about it, is why the lightsabers are so thick, is because that's what
women
they
made
look
them.
like. No, that's what they look like at Galaxy's Edge when you make them. They've changed them so they fit with what you buy at Galaxy's Edge.
Interesting.
That is the only reason. That is actually from, I can't remember what guy said it, and that's why. That is why they've redesigned it slightly bigger so it looks like a baseball hilt. That's why.
Well, do they imagine anyone's going to go?
Well.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah. But the problem is, like in this show, they forget they get A and they get B, but they don't know anything in the middle when they connect anything. It's stupid. And then they get outside of anybody's intelligence. It's like another fire scene in this. It was stupidly retarded. It's like they've lost all logic. If they were going to make the fire purple or some different color, you might understand it. But having the knowledge of what fire does to things, this was stupid. It felt like, like they all die, all the witches. It just felt like they didn't die from the fire. They just did the Heaven's Gate. It just felt like that. It was like they were all laying there. None of them are like burnt. There's okay, the fumes of the fire. Some of them would be coughing and then dying slowly, but they're all laying down like they've been positioned in an arrangement. And it was very bizarre. And like, if they're going to play on that later, I would go reveal, good, like that. But there was no play in that to build up to it because they were the good guy. They're the good cult. And it's just
And I was trying to make bring that up, Stacey, because I was trying to make sense of how the hell they all just dropped dead in the same spot like that. So I'm like, maybe it was the explosion, but then I'm like, well, if it's an explosion, they're not falling on top of each other in a pile. They're all going different directions because there is a little explosion here during the fire. 2, they're all pretty well intact body wise. If you would have just gone, I think we all understand what somebody who's been near or on an explosion, near an explosion enough to feel the damage from it. You're not coming out just full bodied. Positioned like that, it made no sense. And then when you look even closer, all the fire in those scenes are like little baby campfires kind of spread across the room.
Yeah, they like jumped.
So I'm like, what? I couldn't understand how they were trying to get across that fire killed everybody all in one shot like that.
The problem is they were in the living quarters, and then the fire quickly spread into, I'm guessing, a generator that then exploded. Then everybody else died in a separate room. So you got 3 different areas that were really exposed all at once. But then, sod it, let's not make anything crumble down. We just had a massive explosion. Her, I forgot her name now, like the soul runs out with the other thing. Nothing's falling. Everything around them, all the other structures, is perfectly fine. And you're like,
small fires around the room.
Yeah. It took like 2 minutes to this fire to evaporate. I was like, the only way they could have done it is somebody like spread everything like with gasoline and went, sod it. Now I'm going to do it. But then like the accelerant on that is just stupid. It's somebody went there in the production when we have to have it spreading really fast to make this make sense.
It's insane.
And then at least but the thing is, then make the bodies look stupidly charred. Brie, Aunt Brie, like look literally, they're skeletons. Like when Luke went back there in A New Hope, they're gone. They're literally, when you see it as a kid, you're like, oh, why did they do that? Just literally burn out like skeleton shards. That would have made sense, or like the only thing she recognizes from her mum is half her skull or something with a bit of flesh because she's got that symbol on her head. Make it a bit. This show so far is not made for kids. Even every time George Lucas said, I've made everything Buck Rogers, for kids. I wanted that Saturday early matinee. This isn't. This is over pre-teens, and it's a bit dark, and it's got like a mindset that you don't want your little kid watching this. It's not a kid's show. But yeah.
And then, sorry, I know I'm rambling here, but this show just like put my mind in a pretzel last night. So this is a little bit therapeutic to walk through with people who understand this. So that's immediately after that fire, the fire, the explosion, all that happens, and OSHA's escaping through what we have to imagine is a secret tunnel because it seems to be something in her room that's a secret kind of passageway that leads down to these catacombs or whatever the hell it was.
Grooming tunnel.
Yeah, it was a bizarre little area that it leads her down to with this little metal bridge and all that. How on earth did May end up there so quickly in the same time, almost knowing?
Yeah, that was weird.
Twin. It's a twin connect. Some people will say it's the twin connection. They know they'll chalk it up to that because they enjoy lazy writing and don't want to, peer into things.
Oh, they're going to be a dyad in the Force, guaranteed.
Right. But then it's how the hell did Saul end up there at the same exact time, right? Perfectly to save the day, to be able to save OSHA. Also, we already saw Saul save OSHA from falling off the cliff with the Force. Why is he relying on running, diving, and catching her by the arm in order to save her instead of using the Force, which he's a master Jedi?
I can explain this. Very easy. The script says so.
Yeah, but that's that's it. What Jack said earlier. We're not shitting on it because of the character or the person playing it. Yeah, the actors said such stupid things in the past, but Jack's right. We're shitting on it because getting from that point to that point in the script and the dialogue and the settings is absolutely atrocious. It just doesn't give you that immersed feeling that you're in a galaxy far, far away. Half time you go, oh no, rolling your eyes. You're like, why, how? That doesn't make sense, and that's the problem. So anybody loving it, come on. You got to kind of use a bit of common sense, and it anybody shitting on it for that way, you're shitting on it for clickbait. Sorry,
right? Well, anyone loving this program, loving this program, or anything that anyone is making that is coming out of these Disney fucking shows right now, anyone who's loving it is just so used to having something mid shoved into their face, even below mid. It's like they're so used. Yeah, they're so used to having shit thrown at them that they're okay with this shit writing. I was watching a movie today.
Isn't it TikTok?
I was watching a movie today that was released in 1941, and it was on the suggestion of one of my other colleagues. And the writing in it is absolutely fantastic. The script is fucking phenomenal. It makes sense. It flows, and it's funny as well. It's a hilarious comedy from 1941. It's called The Man Who Came to Dinner. It's got Betty Davis, and it's a fucking great film. Yeah. But nevertheless, it just reminded me that we used to actually make good movies. We used to actually make movies that people sat down and enjoyed.
Here we go. Segue onto that, do you think it's a problem then with most teenagers or like early, anybody under the age of 28? It's probably on their phone. Whilst they're watching it, they're
100%.
Literally doing it. And they're like, we don't need a full script because people are going to look up. It's like, here we go, Kenobi, great example. They didn't have a clue what they were doing, but they had that Darth Vader Kenobi moment that everybody on TikTok talked about because that was all they wanted to know.
Yeah, and you're gone. Exactly.
That's it. You just on your phone, what's happening? On your phone, what's happening? You can guarantee I won't get a 15-year-old sitting down and watch Citizen Kane.
Well, actually, I'll respond to your question. Do I think it's that? No. What I think is it's that they've replaced all of the good writers in the industry with shit writers because of DEI or whatever. It's like I keep harking on about in every stream we do. They are purposefully rewriting the law. They are purposefully pushing us, the gatekeepers, away so that they can insert their new ideology, and that's all this is. I don't think it's it may be a case of everything's bigger, better, faster now, and you don't need to have such an in-depth script, or you don't need to have such a too much dialogue or whatever. It's just you want to try and get people to pay attention in certain parts of it, so you make it loud here and you make it bright there, but all you need to hear is just those few words. I don't necessarily think it's that. I just think it's that the writers don't have the capability of writing a movie or a TV show the way that it used to be written. Look at Breaking Bad. It's only 15 years old, is it? Breaking Bad is only 15 years old. Look at the depth of writing in that. The depth of dialogue in it, right? And that was only 15 years ago.
I know. I'm just going to think, I know something that's modern, but it's based on an old one. Shogun. Everybody who watched it liked the dialogue, and it's really dialogue heavy. But if I recommend it, I don't know, to my girlfriend's niece or something, she's younger, I watch it, and she was like, "I'm not interested because it's got subtitles." She was like, and I was like, "Yeah, but it's based in Japan." And she was like, "Yeah, but can I have it dubbed?" I was like, "No, it doesn't work."
Consume it.
And she had and it was. She got pissed off that she has to sit there and concentrate. Yeah, and that was the problem. I was like, "Oh," but everybody else who actually sat there went, "I'm going to watch it." Went, "This is great. This is great dialogue."
No, just give me the dubbed and abridged version. That's all I need.
It is.
I mean, there's that.
It's like people watching Gojira -1. And then putting on dub, and you're like, "Oh, what?"
Right.
What was you going to say?
Gojira has the high ground, though.
Yeah. So there's even
Gojira, Gojira.
The worst part when it comes to specific when it comes to the fan base of something, because I have done this and I have seen this a million times in different mediums where you start off with watching something that is really, really good and you really enjoy it. You really get into it. Over time, it deteriorates and gets worse and worse and worse. And then you have two kinds of groups. Group number one will acknowledge that it's getting worse and calling it out. And then you have these people that are so dedicated to the medium they are watching, they convince themselves because they need it for themselves that it's still good. And they are not able to accept the fact that it's slowly getting more and more shit. And they will not admit until their fucking dying breath that it's falling off a cliff and gotten shit. And it's not just with Star Wars. I've seen this with many things. I've even done this myself with one specific show where it took a while. If you ask me right now, I will tell you it's fucking dog shit, specifically the later half. But at the start, I was like, no, I still have fun with this because I refused to see the flaw. Mm-hmm. And many people do this. They refuse to see the flaw because they will make stupid headcanon inside their own mind to justify the absolute extraordinary bullshit and sit there and be like, yeah, but this is still fine. It's like because the thing that you hear often is it's not as bad as you think. And right there, you are talking to an excutionist. They make excuses for themselves, not for you, because they either cannot or do not want to admit that the thing that they used to like has become shit.
Right.
Star Trek,
which and the worst part is
example.
Yeah, and then they try to tell you that if you're critical of it, you're not a fan, as if being critical of something means you can't be a fan. If anything, being critical means you are a fan. For example, when it comes to sports, for example, I'm sure we all have different sports teams. I am on my teams when they suck or when they're not doing anything. As a Red Sox fan, I can't stand my ownership. The ownership of this team is awful. They care more about Liverpool than they do the Sox. Drives me nuts. I'm on them. I'm criticizing them all the time because I love the Red Sox. I want them to be a good team. I want them to win the World Series. Yep. That's being a fan. If I'm sitting here just giving money to the team to go to these games that are overpriced and they're rolling out a shitty product, how is that any better of a fan than somebody who's critical? If anything, I think you're along the lines of what Hanayama said, just in denial of saying that something's shit. And it doesn't mean anybody who's criticizing it is any less of a fan. That whole kind of narrative.
Sorry, Jay, can I just butt in there because we got a lot of Europeans here? That's Red Sox is called Rounders.
Yes, right. Of course. How could I forget?
I just want to sort of point something out. I was on a stream with a chap called MSK last night, Master Swag King, and he asked the question: "Is this harassment?" Because we were talking about when is it The Force Awakens or whichever the one that Rose Tico was in. We brought up the article about when Daisy Ridley and Kelly Tran they were getting. They were getting a lot of harassment online. And the question was, is it harassment? Now, the point I made was, let's take away the media of internet, right? Let's say that you weren't able to sort of dogpile on a person. If you had, Kelly Tran or Daisy Ridley at a fan expo, and there was a big line of people, queuing up, and each one of them took it in turn to say what they thought about the episode or the movie or whatever. Would that be harassment if every single person said it was shit? Or is it harassment if one person is constantly going on at them? Right. Now, put that into modern terms where you have got the internet and it is possible for thousands of people to all at once jump in and say this is shit. Is that harassment because every individual person has got exactly the same fucking opinion? No. If it was one person going along and saying you're shit all the time, that would be harassment. But just because thousands of people just because 1,000 people have exactly the same fucking opinion, doesn't make it harassment. It's criticism, and it's valid criticism.
What makes it harassment to them is what makes it harassment to them is that those 1,000 people disagree with their perspective.
Right.
So,
look at the modern media now. I'm guessing there's a lot of people here who remember dial-up. That was literally the kind of part of when the Phantom Menace came out. Everybody agrees with that. And I didn't have a social media account in the 1999. Guaranteed. I didn't. Maybe MySpace. used it for something completely different. But the modern
social media wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah, it wasn't. But the modern day media tried to say it was crap because of the fans now. Sorry, it was because of the critics came out and hated it. And that's pushed everybody back on the Phantom Menace. I like the Phantom Menace, don't like parts of it, but I can still enjoy it.
Yeah, agree.
It's still entertaining.
Now they're trying to blame what the fans are saying now, saying it's crap. Oh, they said it about the Phantom Menace. Look how much that people like that now. And you're like, no, social wasn't a thing. Twitter wasn't a thing.
Right.
You know, Facebook wasn't, must have just been coming out if it was a thing. It was all like, yeah, it wasn't. Nobody went on their social media and said, for fuck's sake, this was blah, 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 blah. No, you didn't do it. But now they have that kind of mindset of like, it's because of the fans. It's the group of fans. It's like that portion of fans. Like you're saying, that one person, but they bracket everybody as that one person. You're that far right because you didn't like something that I like. Oh,
there's a very clear way.
I want to hear what Tommy's got to say.
Way of understanding what's harassment and what's not. If I say a TV show is shit, me repeatedly say it's shit, it's shit, it's shit. That is me criticizing the TV program. If I single out an actress and I say you are shit and everything you do is shit, that's harassment.
Yep, 100%. 100%. And there's a distinct difference there.
The second you become personal with your attacks, it is no longer criticism. Everything you say should be discounted. Now, don't get me wrong. They could easily play a shit character in a shit role and act fucking shit at the same time. Fine. But the problem isn't the fucking actors half the time. It's the writers. The writers are dog wank. The TV program itself is dog wank. Focus your criticisms towards the TV program, and it can't be harassment at any point in time, whether one person fucking says it or all of us say it.
Yep. And to further that, Zombie, to your point... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Abe.
This is the situation with Brie Larson as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's actually a decent actress. It's just that her role as Captain Marvel has been so poorly written, nobody cares about it. Mm-hmm. They just think it's shit.
I thought you were saying to do with her toes.
Cunt, but
this is another thing as well about this show, is that it's a damning indictment of it. The fact that the best actor on the show doesn't speak English.
Learning the last 4 months.
He's doing a great job.
He had to
a better job than anyone else.
One job.
Pronounce all of his lines and still emoted better than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Abe, and I'll challenge you slightly. I'm not going to disagree with everything you said. I'm going to challenge you slightly. At what point in time did Brie Larson make the effort to make the fans get emotionally involved, kind of like connect with her characters, for her to actually warrant any form of kind of like positive criticism?
Yeah, well, I certainly think she comes across as quite an aloof person.
But what was the movie she won an Oscar for?
Room, which actually is a pretty good movie. I've seen it, and she is very good in it.
I wonder how much she got paid for Room, and then how much she got paid for being Captain Marvel. There's going to be a difference, and a lot of people like who get that kind of like Superman kind of role, whatever. Wow, great! I'm going to get loads of money. Do they care at the end of the day? They're literally getting dragged left, right, and center to all these forums and stuff like to promote a thing. None of them read like a comic, or been invested like us. We're geeks. We're nerds. We will go into the backstory of something we really love. I can guarantee all of us have that character. We can go. I can talk 10 hours, and I will still love that character. And our chat, guaranteed, they will have who. Can I become Batman? Reasons why. Please go. And they will give me the answer. The problem is these actors are dumb. They are there to read a script, and people forget that's what it is. But the problem is the best thing they could do is shut up. The production company throw them into the face of a camera and then go, "Hey, do you like being Captain Marvel?" And most of them go, I don't know what a Captain Marvel is.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
That's
Like
the
even the character in the comics isn't particularly popular at all.
Mm-hmm.
Never has been.
Nope.
So, like, she's always going to be stuck in that place in which you've got a poorly written character in the comics and the movies, and she's been directed to act basically emotionless.
Yes.
Right.
It's the act stoic trope. And the funny part is, like, even if you look at Star Wars, like, look at The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and all that shit. How many people have said that John Boyega's character, Finn, deserved better?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's sitting there like, oh, John Boyega is trash, we don't like him. It's like, no, Finn as a character was written poorly, was handed the short stick, deserved fucking better, and got absolutely shit on. That's not like nobody was attacking. Like, okay, I don't say nobody because obviously there's going to be that one fucking dick waffle that did, but the majority did not attack the actor. Nobody, the majority, didn't go after Daisy Ridley for and hating on her. It's just the character she was unfortunate enough to play was a shit character. That's not her fault.
Shoddily written.
Right.
I was hoping that trilogy was gonna increasingly be more about Finn.
Yeah, I think most fans had kind of Finn's back on that, where we were all saying, you know, it's the way they're progressing this character past that first movie was a huge disservice to the actor and the character. They could have done far better with it. Yep. And they, for whatever reason, just chose to put him in the back seat.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to market it abroad.
Chinese communist money.
Yeah.
Give me the money.
They didn't want another. China was a different thing, but it was another male character that the fans loved, and they were pushing. Sorry, we want a female one.
Female.
But the thing is, they couldn't write Rey.
No,
right.
And then they made her out Rey Skywalker, and you're like, oh,
they couldn't write Kylo Ren either.
No,
they couldn't write much of anything.
To be fair, if you have a shit writer, how are you expected to write good characters?
But how can you have? They were going to have 3 different writers, and none of them spoke to each other.
I mean, the biggest problem that the Disney trilogy has is that you had like 3 different plot lines going on at the same time. You had the Finn one, you had the Rey one, and then for some reason they sprinkled Poe in there for some fucking reason. But Poe didn't go anywhere, and Finn was like, well, he had potential in the first one, and then they just gave him the shaft. He was just stuck with Rose Tico for half the time.
Plot line would have been way better.
Right. And you can even have, your A plot, your B plot, your C plot. It's been done before. It's been done well.
Really?
It's a way to kind of carry a movie through when you're not on just the main character. It's just that they almost wanted to put a lot of focus on the B and C plot almost as much as an A, but then decided not to, but then wanted to. And then by the second movie, just dropped the ball on the B plot, which would have been Finn's. It's like, it was just a mess of writing because there was no continuity, no consistency between the writers. And the writers in the first place weren't that great. Like the first one, Force Awakens, it wasn't. It's not. I think that's the most okay of the trilogy. It's not a great movie. I liked it more when it came out, and now I have much, seen it more times and seeing what happened. It's worse.
Yeah, it's like, let's turn all the effects up to 7 and take out 7 planets instead of 1.
It was
bigger Death Star. It's not a moon; it's a planet.
Right.
Lazy writing.
Yeah, the least offensive. But then from there, they just devolved in their writing even worse than just kind of giving us a medium reboot that's kind of a rehash of the original movie, which was like, okay, whatever. It was a decent enough attempt at trying to bring people into this franchise again, since it had been so much time.
Didn't work though.
Didn't work, right? Didn't work. Then they dropped the ball immediately. Like there was no progression upwards from that, okay kind of movie. It was just a complete downward spiral from there. So you started off.
The problem is,
Queen Selena's in chat. Hello.
Hello, Selena.
If you've got, I don't know here, and you're gonna have to put your hands up. Who's got a daughter or granddaughter? The problem is, they tried to give
too many
you,
of both.
But they tried to do the Force is female, so dads or whatever, grandparents couldn't go. This is what you aspire to, or whatever, because men had it previously, and they've stated that. Kathleen Kennedy has stated that they wanted somebody, a Luke Skywalker who you could look up to, like that. But they were so badly written. The dad's grandparents. Are you going to go? Rey's a great character.
Right.
Yeah. What? Because
but
Leia first. You point to Leia foul before Rey.
Never foul. How do you foul in life? You don't. You just get on with it. And that's not a great life lesson, but that's what they're teaching, and they're trying to do it through the Force is female or whatever. It's not great. Like as a parent now, like young parent, I suppose you want to call it, but I kind of want to progress that. As we all know, shit won't go your way, and the shit will hit the fan. And when it needs to happen, you need to step up. But this isn't. It's literally you clean hands. It just works out for you.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm gonna start moving us on, guys. I'm gonna start moving on. Before we start going on to the next one, do you know what? I can't even be bothered to go through any of the more Akashite fucking shite.
Yeah,
it's doing my head now. It's doing it.
It's draining.
I think the point's been made. The episode number 3 isn't doing the show any favors. If not, it's just getting worse. Shows the ineptitude of writers that currently work for Disney, and Leslie Headland needs her fucking head sorted out. But Steel Letter History, proud of you, just got home worn out from spending all day getting his new fake leg made. Need to rest my back after getting dinner. Be blessed. It's good to see you. So that's Steel Letter History, member for 5 months. And Andy Matthews, if Brie is a good actress, why does no one remember she was in Kong Skull Island?
Because nobody has seen that movie.
She can be a good actress. I don't know if I'd say on the whole she is, but she can be a good actress. I have seen it in room.
Yeah.
And personal attack or something?
No, and Andrew Matthews, that's very simple because nobody has seen that fucking movie.
Yeah, we actually just had a conversation about it on Smoosh Stream the other day with Abe, Hanayama, and Smoosh myself.
Yeah.
I
mean,
is that the one with
I've
Jack
seen
Black
it.
in?
I remember it.
No, the Jack Black was the good one. That was the Peter Jackson one. This was the one with Tom Hiddleston. Yep.
She was the camera crew.
She was the camera crew.
She was literally the camera crew.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, okay. Moving on. How many people... Games. Let's talk about...
Let's talk games. Let's talk games. Let's go.
I'm going to play a trailer.
Please let it be that one.
I could definitely use a palate cleanse after this Acolyte stuff.
Oh, you're not getting one.
Oh, great. I was hoping it was the Doom. I heard the Doom trailer was good. I was hoping we were looking at that one.
Oh, no. We got to finish with Doom. We got to finish with the good shit.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the palate cleanse is coming somewhere.
No.
You want to finish with it?
No.
Let you finish.
No. We need to pile all of the shit and then finish with the good stuff so everybody leaves happy.
Good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I watched Cabrutus watching this that whole stream, and he basically they put the Doom trailer out first, and then he was just like, "Yeah, fucking Doom, awesome!" And then every game that come after, was, I don't care about any of these fucking games anymore. I just want to stop watching this on stream and go and watch the Doom trailer again.
Yeah. So let's go to that one.
Greg, to be honest, Greg,
dear.
what you just said there is like blowing your load too fast.
Yep. Oh fuck yeah. Uncle Martin just reminding us that the first Descendant, 2nd of July.
Yes. Oh right.
Yep, we
We'll
are
be playing
going to be there, my dude. Team Play
gonna be
Tuesdays. Team Play Tuesdays is coming back. So Tuesdays. I'm not sure if Deal Breaker's going to be back with us then. So Tuesdays, freaking indigestion from eating dinner. Crikey. Tuesdays, I will have a slot available. So if Martin, you're about, you want to play, or if anybody else wants to play that they've got the game, just feel free to jump in. But Boosh McFadden's, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. With the old Damon. Right. Do you know what? Reading this earlier, I did actually feel a bit like Mac Damon. But Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Creative director reveals that all of the game's companions are canonically pansexual.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a
flying I'm asking the panel here. Who gives a shit?
Oh,
who?
Not me.
Sorry, I'm going to think. I get confused. Which one is pansexual? What does that mean?
Pansexual
They like
for
having
everybody,
sex with
right?
It's everything. You want to have a sex with a cactus?
Yeah.
Well,
basically, hump anything.
Yeah.
They are really attracted to frying pans.
Yes. Only
Pansexual is what they call hedging your bets, right? It's called hedging your bets. It's called being fucking greedy. It's called making up your fucking mind, will you, for Christ's sake? Pick one and fuck them. I don't care who you fuck, just fucking pick one so I know which one I can go for.
Ugly people say it then.
Yanni agrees with me. Yanni agrees with me.
Oh, dear me. Go away, adverts. Right, okay.
Go away now.
Go away now. Speaking of the topic of just how the Veilguard would handle the franchise's fan favorite romance systems, Epler declared that rather than each companion's sexuality simply being able to be romanced by the player, the individual characters will all be pansexual, its currently dictionary definition, encompassing those that are sexually or romantically attracted to people regardless of their sex or gender. Oh, fucking Jesus. It's just
so basically they're saying that they're AI characters. That they're genderless AI constructs that
Well, they're not genderless. They're not genderless. They're just saying
that
skin. You can make any character hump any other character. It really doesn't matter.
Dry hump.
And they're trying to normalize, in my view, in terms of gaming, it's one of the best mediums to get things across to people. Certainly,
it's very immersive.
Immersion being one aspect to it, but certainly you can change people's mindsets with any form of entertainment. And if gaming is the widest form of entertainment currently available to companies and corporations to push fucking messages, this just is another way of normalizing fucking shite behaviors or shite aspects.
Yeah, I wish we wouldn't normalize some of this shit, to be honest, but that's just me.
And that's the problem. And it's not just this. I mean, you're seeing the boundaries being pushed constantly. Every release, every IP is being twisted to formalize some form of message. And every time the amount of normalization for bad practice, bad ideas is just being pushed further and further. So there is literally no game in 5 years, unless the whole of the gaming industry absolutely collapses under the woke agenda bullshit. I can't see anything changing for some of these games. Do we really think this is going to sell more games? Who is this aimed to?
Yeah, like that's my first question with this kind of stuff is that, like, if you want to put it in the game, so be it. But why is this a marketing point? Who is buying a game based off this?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to call it a feature or just this, inclusion into the story or the lore. Like, it's like, if I'm buying a game, first and foremost, it's gameplay. What is the gameplay of your game? If you have a good story that goes with it, fantastic. If the story sucks and the gameplay is great, I can still play it because I'll just skip all the, cinematics and all that stuff. But gameplay should be the kind of main selling points. I don't understand how this is a marketing point in any way, but
it's very strange because I would like to see the graph is like when they announce this statement. It's probably not really a point in the game. Is like
it's a whole lot
you've got the amount of who they're aiming this for, how many they buy it, and then how much their marketing, I suppose, like banking rate and up. What is the difference? Because there's got to be a drop. It's because, like, yeah, you're gonna have normies that don't read this, that won't care. Yeah, but the opposite end of that, you're gonna have a lot of people going F that, and the F that is probably going to outweigh the people who go, oh my god, they're representing me. I hate to say it because that's very tiny amount of percentage you're aiming at.
This is why they're going out of business constantly. All these various woke, studios.
But do they actually?
The way I see it, the way I see it, especially going back to the pop culture franchises in movies and TV and stuff as well, is like they've been infected by a parasitic organism that's come along and jabbed it and then laid an egg in it, or several eggs.
Watch that movie.
And they've been hollowing out all of our franchises, game studios, game franchises, all our beloved old age franchises, Doctor Who and everything like that. And the reason that they look similar but they're not the same is because, like Nerdrotic says, they're wearing a skin suit, but it's more than that. They're actually, they've hollowed out the insides of what we loved before, and they've occupied the same space. And then what they're going to do? They're going to burst, and they're going to spread eggs everywhere like a bunch of parasitic fucks.
Yeah, it's like the brain bug scene out of Starship Troopers, where they suck the brains out.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I kind of liken it to that fungal infection that insects get, where they get infected by the fungus. It grows throughout their body, and then they climb to a really high place, and then they burst, and spores go everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, zombie bugs.
But
so we've got zombie franchises, and they're not about zombies. They're dead, and they're walking husks.
Company are saying it. Is it literally from the marketing people that are we've been told, or are they doing the right thing? Or is it like the higher ups that are literally blind, getting the multi-millions and sitting in their thing going, just sign off on this. Here we go. It's like that. Because like most geeks who are doing the coding, they just want to do a good game. They don't care. But they're getting this kind of like, oh, by the way, that's what happened in this now. You're like, oh, what? Why? The game was good already. If you've got a shit game, this gives you a bit of an article. Yeah, that's the problem. And that's
well, you see, the thing is, in games, right? In games, the way that it used to be was so I know from personal experience that in a development team or in a development office, sometimes it could be any single one of them that is the project manager, and it's usually the person whose idea it is. You know what I mean? So that someone will pitch an idea to the rest of the team, and the rest of the team will sort of like go, yeah, that's a good idea, that is. Why don't we make that game? And so there'll be a project manager, and it's usually the person who has the idea, the overall sort of feel of the game. They know what the game is supposed to be about, right? And what we've got now is too many people having too much fucking input, right? All the individual team members, instead of just doing what they're told their fucking job is to do, right? Go away, make this part of the game, they're having too much input, and they're going, well, can't we change it so that it can be like this? And can't we insert some intersectionality here? And can't we make this character a black person? And can't we? It's like, no, this is you're ruining the idea of my fucking game here. I'm the project manager. I'm the person who is saying how it goes. You can either do the job or you can fuck off away from the studio. But the problem is we've got people that are in the studio now who are fucking activists, and they've got to have their say. Everyone's got to be fucking equal, and there's too many cooks spoiling the broth, so to speak. That's the issue.
I mean, if you look at it from this perspective, Baldur's Gate made the similar approach, didn't they? But they did describe it as being player sexual. So it doesn't matter what gender your character was, they were always sexual towards you. But it's your choice whether you or not you want to engage with the characters or not, considering your preferences that you have. However, I feel like, especially since Baldur's Gate 3 has been such a soaring success, a lot of companies try to like emulate that now and pander so fucking hard to everyone because they feel like, oh, we need to pander harder because nobody will buy our game otherwise. But that's not the right approach to take, because
then
nobody gives a shit.
Why don't they just make every game that you can design your own character, like you can do? I'm guessing like in Conan. Let's say literally do whatever you want with your character, and then that's it. We're not going to say you're that, them. Whatever you want to be is you can do it. If it's but if we control it and it's a male character, female character, whatever, then that's the control. Yeah,
I mean, technically, Baldur's Gate 3 allows you to create your character. You can determine your own sexuality within the in the game space. You can go after or basically have relationships with any of the NPCs, any of the other characters that are within that game. It is your choice which ones you go for, even if you do want to go for Halcyon after he's shapeshifted into a bear. He's a druid, he can shapeshift into a fucking bear, who gives a fuck? But the thing is that none of those decisions, none of those points are forced on you by the makers of the game. They are an option that you, the player, need to establish, and they're not even guaranteed.
I just no, right. So I disagree. Right? why are we seeing such a big movement back to retro gaming and retro style games? Because of their simplicity, right? You got a character, and that was the fucking character that you played. It didn't matter whether they were black, white, fucking up, down, left, right. Yeah. That it was the simplicity of the game. Look at fucking GTA 3, for example, right? Everyone loved that game. It was a simple game, although it had a lot to do in it. And then what happened? It moved on to Vice City, yeah. And there was a little bit more to do in that. And we were like, oh, all right. Yeah, so they've put a little bit extra in this now. You can go around, collect the packages, and it's like an open world sandbox. And you can sort of like, you can go and do the missions whenever you want to. But you don't have to do that. You can just go around and fuck around in a car if you want to and go smash people up or whatever you want to fucking do. And then we got into things like, San Andreas. Now you got to go and collect all of the graffiti tags and the hidden packages, and there's like 20 different fucking zones you can go to. Then we moved on to like the new generation of Xbox and Xbox 360, GTA 4, GTA 5. Look at how much shit is in that game to do now. It's just too much. There's too much choice. Just make a game with good gameplay. I don't care who the fucking character is. They could be a drag queen for all I care, right? As long as the gameplay is good and I enjoy the gameplay. You're taking all of the gameplay out and inserting all of the intersectionality, and I couldn't be fucking less bothered with it.
So I think I would push back on that a little bit in terms of, because I'm a big fan of RPGs, so I do like the progression in RPGs in terms of side missions, quests, things like that, because it does give you more life to a game. I would agree that in terms of the character itself, like look at a great example is the old GTA games. We didn't even used to know Tommy Vercetti's name in GTA 3. We didn't really get his name and more development to his character until Vice City, which again was fine. But characters were just written more simply then and more standard in terms of not pushing. I mean, I guess the best way to put it is just not pushing specific ideologies into it. So I think the idea of games kind of over the years getting more and more has been okay. Because it does leave you the option too. If you want to just do main missions and story, you can fly through that and you can ignore all the side missions. If you want extra gameplay, you can do that. I think I do agree with you where it gets to now. You're putting too much focus on the identity of these characters where it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's like I said before, first and foremost is gameplay. What is the gameplay? Do I like it? Do I not? If you want to give me extra stuff to do, happy to do it. If I want to skip it, happy to skip it. It's that bit of like, well, our characters are this, and this. It's like, I don't care, because even if the story itself sucks, I'll just skip through the cinematics and continue with the gameplay.
I mean, I think
there is some medium there.
Did I miss something with role-playing games? Because I've been playing role-playing games since like 1977, and we never had rules for forming relationships with people in campaigns or anything like that. It was completely freaking irrelevant. The only relationship any of my characters had with anyone else in game was in a barroom brawl where one of the characters went upstairs and ended up trying to get a blowjob from someone who turned out to be a werewolf, and it didn't go very well. But that aside, when did all of this relationship gaming get injected into role playing?
I think that leads to Jack's point where it's just gone a little bit too much into like all this nonsense that they're trying to stick into the characters themselves of these role playing games.
I disagree.
Yeah, but the problem is they think nobody likes the characters. Like, you can't be a gay character, a trans character, female character, male character if you're the other side to it. And then you look at, like, I don't know, Sons of Anarchy. Everybody finds the trans character interesting. Like Alice in Borderland, the best character in it is trans. Like Bound, the Lesbians are really interesting, good movie, and nobody gives a shit. Now you're being told you should hate it because you are straight male, whatever. You're gay, you don't like straights, blah 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 blah, whatever it is. That's the problem. They're trying to now go, it's so unnormalized, it's normal. And
I'm going to challenge you all.
No.
I'm going to challenge you all now on your understanding of games. Right. Okay, you've got 3 fucking types. It is this simple. 3 types, not 3 fingers, 3 types. You've got gameplay-driven games. You've got story driven games, and then you've got the hybrids, which are the combination of both. The games that you're thinking of, Jack, earlier, with the earlier versions of GTA, were heavily gameplay-orientated games, which later started transforming into hybrids, where you got a story element as well. Still the same underpinning gameplay, but it had the story-driven elements over the top. Became a hybrid. Baldur's Gate, you have got story, you have got gameplay. It is a hybrid. You look at Vampire Survivors, that is pure gameplay. That's the only thing it can ever be. Broforce, that me and Smooth played the other day, is gameplay. It's all it ever will be.
Yep.
Now, the problem is, with any story-based game, the story is in the hands of whoever's writing it. The gameplay largely comes second to everything else. The story drives everything. Now, the problem is when you've got...
a story over gameplay for the most part today.
Yeah.
Sadly.
When you are leaning to the multi-million dollars, and you're talking 200 million, 300 million poured into a game, what they're trying to do is put as much story as they can do, as much voice as they can do, much cinematics as they can do, but to try and justify you spending $60, $70, $130 on a game, AAA game, whatever it may be, but they're shoehorning in bollock crap ideology that only panders to a small amount of people, and they're not even proper gamers themselves. They don't understand their audience. They don't understand the fact that you only have to spend a small amount of money to create a really good game. And you don't have to put all of the ideology into games, into story-based games, to make them engaging and people want to care about them. You don't
do you class Baldur's Gate as a AAA game?
No.
No, it's a high-quality indie game, though.
It's a high-quality indie game.
I just don't. I've got a kind of personal rule that I just don't play AAA games. If the price point for a game is anything approaching £50 plus, I just fuck it off, unless it's exceptional. I want to.
I want to highlight a comment that I saw from Shamash, by the way. So what Baldur's Gate did well was gameplay. The story got dumber the more I played it, and I didn't even care that much for the romance after the first playthrough.
Yeah,
see, that's completely fine. You don't have to go with the romance route. And I think like what a lot of AAA games nowadays have this perpetual trap of needing to be an open world sandbox nowadays, which is overly produced, and there's so much bloat in it that you could easily trim and sell to people later. You know, and honestly, I would rather games would have a bit more focus on like a good gameplay driven story, instead of like putting the story first and then the gameplay second. I don't want to play a fucking movie all the fucking time, which is the problem that you run into with Sony games nowadays. A lot of the Sony games you see, especially the first party titles, are walk and talk simulators with a little bit of combat sprinkled in them.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you have Senua's Saga coming out, or that just came out, which is literally a thing was 4 to 5 hours long, and there's barely any gameplay in it. Visually, it looks great, but if you want to make a fucking movie, then make a fucking movie and stop making these movie games, because I'm getting sick and tired of that shit. I personally, like Tommy already said, we played some stupid games in the last year. We played Broforce together. We've even played Borderlands together, and even that had a better plot than some of the games that have come out fairly recently, and also a bit more humor sprinkled in. And I think it's getting to a point where AAA gaming is just setting itself up to fail, because the budgets balloon like crazy, mainly due to consultation work as well, but also due to the fact that they always have to like try and top each other with, we need these hyper realistic graphics, but our plot is only like 4 hours long. It's like, what the fuck? Like, where does this start? Where does this end? And yeah, at least he's raised an excellent point. Palworld, that game did extraordinarily well in comparison to like some of the AAA games that came out recently. even a game like Vampire Survivors that looks like a game that came out like 30, 40 years ago, it sold better than some of the AAA games that came out.
Mm-hmm. But the games, just those particular examples, the games know exactly, or the creators know exactly what they were trying to deliver.
Right, the identity is clear on them.
Yeah,
probably because they don't have interference, though.
There was no story element to them. I mean, you can argue that Vampire Survivors has got a small story in as much as you are a vampire survivor, you got to find the other survivors, kill Dracula. That's your story. Power World, you're trying to survive and you're trying to capture and you're trying to survive in amongst all the animals that are on the exactly. Right. But the story element is the bit that hasn't been interjected, and as such, sold really, really well. Because let's face it, 90% of your gaming audience, they want to play games. They don't want to play anything that's ideologically driven to satiate a small amount of people that, one, hate the product, hate the games, and hate everything around them. That's the problem.
And I think it also always depends on the gamer too. Like, for example, I do like sometimes when it's a story driven game that also excels in the gameplay. For example, Hogwarts Legacy was one where I'm very interested in the world of, Harry Potter and the Wizarding World and all that. So I liked going along with the story in that one, and the gameplay matched up with it. It was a fun experience from both aspects. Watched every cutscene, all the side missions, all that stuff. Then you have a game like Elden Ring where I think the gameplay is phenomenal, and by all accounts, I hear it has great story and great lore to it. I personally couldn't really be bothered with the story in that one. I might be missing something there where, maybe I missed out on a portion of the game that was really nice, but I absolutely adored the game Elden Ring because of its gameplay. It was fun, and I kind of just skipped through, talking to people and picking up notes and finding out the lore because I just didn't really care all that much about the lore in that one. But I think those are both big examples of sorry, I just had some sound going off my background here. I think those are both great examples of, story-driven, high-quality story-driven games and high-quality gameplay games where it's up to the gamer to play it how they want because there's no real ideology crammed into those ones. It's just, look, we're going to write a story we think is good. Here it is. We're going to make a game with gameplay we think is good. Here it is. Do with it what you will. And I think that's when games strive in their best. I think it's, it's that sweet spot of kind of nailing both right.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, for blah, 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 blah. Yeah, in the former title of all Hawk's allies could be romanced, regardless of what gender the player chose for the protagonist at the start of the game. However, should the hero have been removed completely from the narrative, some of them may not have chosen to explore this straight or gay romance. What a fucking load of shite.
Player sexual. Well, that's the term they used for Baldur's Gate for a long time.
Yeah, player sexual. So basically, you decide what your character wants to do. You are in complete control of your character, and therefore all decisions sit with the player. And as such, the engagement was fine.
What my character wants to do is pick up a fucking great big two-handed greatsword and go and kill people, not sit around a campfire trying to woo a werebear or try and get some fucking some weird half demon race chick in bed. Maybe that's just the paladin in me talking, but
Yeah, but you can do that. That's the neat part. No single companion in Baldur's Gate needs to be romanced. You can literally not give a flying fuck about all of them. You don't even need to take any one of them with you, meaning outside of the cutscenes that are relevant to those stories that you can also skip. You can technically murder all of your companions, not give a fuck about any of them, and still complete the game just by violence.
Yeah, and a guaranteed, Abe would play it guaranteed trying to get bummed by a bear.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You gotta try everything once.
I think spoken like a true Green Power Ranger.
Something
I'd
something
prefer
else
to be the white pat. No, forget it.
Regression, go away.
Something that kind of annoys me about stories like this when they come out about these kind of games too is, and I can't say that I've seen it yet, so I'm sure we will see it. So when we will, maybe this has a little bit more legs to stand on. But I get the feeling that the same type of journalists who called every male who wanted to play Stellar Blade a creep and over sexualizing video games, blah, 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 is going to lose their minds over how great it is to have all this kind of sexualization in this video game because it fits their narrative. So on one hand, they want to blame everybody for, liking the character of Stellar Blade and thinking it looked great and claim them to essentially be these creeps or over sexualizing video games. And why do you need that in your games? And then on the other hand, they're going to praise stuff like this. And it's a little bit aside from this game itself, but that's a narrative that I bet you we see that's going to just be annoying in terms of hypocrisy.
Wow. You already
I'm not going to see it because I'm not playing this shit.
Fair enough.
Fuck this game. Fuck this franchise. I've never played a Dragon Age game. Anyway, I mean, to me, there's so many other games. It's not really my wheelhouse. I was always an FPS player coming up, through gaming. Role-playing's a tabletop activity for me, not a single-player computer game activity. If I want to play a computer game, I want to get into an arena and railgun someone in the face. That's pretty much it. I'm not
just want to take loads in your face. That's what it is.
I prefer delivering, but yeah.
Adam Gray in the chat actually has a great point, and I agree with it very much. Options don't offend me, lecturing does. And I think that is a perfect way to put it. Having the options and things in games isn't what bothers me. It's when you're lecturing to me and playing and you won't allow me to play without that lecturing. That's when I get annoyed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Right. Next.
I don't think that options offend me. I just don't want to have too many of them. I just want
fair enough. Yeah, that wasn't.
Mm-hmm. It's like going to the yogurt aisle and you've got
that was just like an in general kind of view of it all.
Yeah, I get you, mate.
Right.
Anyway.
Warner Brothers.
Speaking of bad options.
Bad options.
In consulting on wrong.
One conversation.
I mean, Arkansas 100% correct. At the end of the day, guys, when you look at RPGs, it's a role-playing game.
Absolutely.
You play how you wish. Anyway, right.
The follow-up is good too. Which is the name of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Bang.
Well, not technically. You could call them
most options.
Possibilities, options, whatever you want to.
You could call it semantics, but
no. Hang on.
Yeah.
No. Right. Just because it's a role-playing game doesn't mean to say that I need to have an option for every fucking aspect of the character. Though, when I played Final Fantasy, I was given the choice of several, or like 4 characters or something like that I could play from. But realistically, you didn't get to choose what their eye color was and their gender and all that. That's not necessary. Give me a character to play, and I'll play the role that character is supposed to be playing through the game. I don't mind that it's got a story in it. I don't mind that I've got like 4 different characters that I can choose from. Yeah, but I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to give it choose its fucking build height and its fucking eye color and hair color and who it wants to fuck. Just give me the character and I'll play it. I'll play its role. That's the role that you've been giving me. Like if I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons and I get to actually create my own character and play that role, I stick to that role. Then don't I? Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, options are the name of the game, and I guess that's what I'm not having a go at you, Arkansas, by the way. I just wanted to respond to that point, is that I don't think my issue is with the sort of, the difference in characters that you get to play and that you're actually playing a role and you play who you want to play. But when you're given a role in a game, you should be playing that role. And not have to choose between, I guess my point is I don't see why you have to create your own fucking character in a game. Just give me a character and I'll play it.
Yeah, we're gonna move on in a second. I just want to round off and say no, that's shit. Only from the perspective of you're conflating role versus creation of a character there. Because if you're going to go play a game where you are a set character, Joe Bloggs is tall as fuck and he's got big muscles, fine, fair enough. But what you're talking about is the role he has in the game, which is maybe a barbarian, maybe a bard, might be a magical user, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you're conflating that against him being able to choose his hair color or his eyebrow length or this, that, and the other. That's character customization rather than role. Because his role's not going to fucking change. If you want him to be a barbarian, he's still going to be the barbarian. He's just going to look different if you create a barbarian versus me create a barbarian or Abe creating a barbarian, for example. Anyway, Warner Brothers, this is great news. This is fantastic news. Warner Brothers Discovery admits to taking $200 million loss on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Oof. What a shock. Did anybody see this coming?
Yes.
How much did the game cost originally?
I can
with marketing. Marketing.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I can tell you.
I think it's close to. I think it was close to 500 million with marketing.
It was like major blockbuster movie type of budget, if I recall.
What, the original film?
185 million. 185 million.
Yeah, but that's
but that's just game creation. That's not included.
That's
not with the marketing.
So
because I'm guessing is it in different languages and all that, and it was like cross-platform.
So
here, consideration, doesn't it?
So the game costs. The game development cost in total rounds up to approximately $225 million, and the marketing for the game was adjusted to another $200 million, given the trailers and everything they produced for the game. So we're looking at approximately $450 million.
Yep.
So they're gonna lose money every single DLC they bring out for this game. Every DLC is not causing a bump in player numbers, and are they included in season passes, or do people have to pay for them?
I want to say it's a pay for season pass, but I could be wrong.
Probably included in the upfront payment for the season pass.
Did I get a tax break as well?
Nope. I would think you get the first season pass when you buy the game, but every subsequent season pass you have to purchase. I would take a guess. I do not know for certain.
I want to say my vague memory says that's correct.
Yeah. And I know you got the first one, obviously, when you bought the game.
And I got to venture to guess they're going to lose or have lost more than 200 million. That's just what they're willing to say and kind of move on from that. Given that cost,
to me, I've not played the game, but I've seen the snippets of the controversial bits on it. But was the gameplay any good?
Nope.
Who's ever played
it? No. Well, I haven't played it, but from what I've seen and from those who I've heard, it was not particularly good.
So even though they tried to insert bits that people got pissed off with, the middle bits,
right? The actual gameplay itself, from what I understand, again, haven't played it. It's supposed to be a looter shooter, multiplayer looter shooter type of style. And it was funny because Tomby, Smoo, and Pete, the Heretical Nerd, and I were playing that First Descendants game, which is a similar style of game. And from what I could tell versus my experience playing that and people's experience playing the Suicide Squad game, the First Descendants game gameplay blew it out of the water. I mean, it's essentially what Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League wanted to be and just didn't even come close.
Okay, so I can attest to this in a very quick question. Has anybody currently here, outside of me, played Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League?
No, I'm not going.
Nope, I refuse.
So,
here you are.
I got to play it, and so I thought, okay, just gameplay wise, let me look at this. So specifically, since 3 of you, or bare minimum 3 of you, have played the First Ascendant, being Tomby, Smoo, and Jay, the best I can describe it to you is: imagine playing the First Ascendant. You constantly have to jump and do retarded fucking air combos, and every enemy has some form of fucking bullshit defense mechanic where you are forced into breaking weak spots, specifically with melee, before you are allowed to shoot your gun in your shooter game.
You just described the British Army.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it by all accounts, and that's about what I had heard. Like the boss fights were typically, you're going against all these different superpowered, superheroes that we know from, Love and comics and all that, and each one eventually, essentially, from what I understand, boiled down to shoot them. Oh God, I forget what it was like. Beat them up to be able to shoot. Exactly what Hannah just described there, which is like you missed a huge opportunity to use their powers individually, create different boss battles, all this fun stuff you could have done, and it all boiled down to you beat every last one the same exact way.
Yes.
The problem I get with this, like, I've never played it, but the problem, just off the bat, it's the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't fucking Batman. It ain't Superman.
Yeah.
Who do you want to play? Come on.
Yeah, the push of the
I want to play Batman. Sorry, most people like Superman's overpowered, whatever. Batman is cool as shit. I'm going to play Batman. You give me a Batman game, I'm going to play Batman.
These people, Batman's a fascist. They already said it in the film.
Yeah, but
I mean, Stasis,
that's because they're going to bang the head.
Yeah, but here's the funny part, Stasis. Let me ask you this. If this was not Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but a Suicide Squad game of you just running around, being the Suicide Squad, doing dumb shit, would you still hate the game for not being able to play a superhero if you knew already you play as the villains doing villain shit?
That might be. They're still not an integral to the DC world. They're still not. They're not very popular characters. They've only been made popular in the latest, newest part of, I suppose, like the because of the films and all that. They're not popular characters within the past. So, like, if you're gonna sell loads, you're gonna look at that picture. Just to say something,
right, just brutal.
Who the flipping heck? Who wants to beat up Batman? I want to be Batman.
Right.
I don't want to beat up Batman. If you're gonna do Suicide Squad, just make, I don't know, like the most popular is gonna be Harley Quinn. Now, probably because she's a bit quirky, but they don't do Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is a weird psychopath. Let's just go with it. Manipulated by what? By a man. A man. They're not going to do that storyline, because at the end of the day, Joker goes, do that, she will do it. She has to be independent. So throws her out the window. Like, what else are you gonna do?
That's what I mean. Like, if you take the element of it being Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, if we take that element away and you just make a Suicide Squad game, you can pick any member, because it's not just the 4 that are in the game. You had every member that was ever part of the Suicide Squad, and you just do around doing villain shit. Like robbing banks, like robbing banks and all that.
If they did a funny one, just went Suicide Squad versus North Korea, it would be funny. I might go for it. It's just like
Suicide Squad versus the world.
It would be a bit funny,
To your point, Hannah, I think you do have a point where if it was a more Suicide Squad game based off what the Suicide Squad actually was, say you even have this kind of secret type of mission that is one of the something that Amanda Waller has you on, where it's more like if you've ever seen what was it? There was an animated Suicide Squad movie that I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was pretty solid. You essentially try to like break into Assault on Arkham, I think is what it was. So you break into Arkham and you're trying to do something with the Riddler. I vaguely remember what it was, but I do remember enjoying it. Something like that would have been nice. Or even if you followed something like the movies where they go up against another big bad like a Starro, or possibly something better than the 2016 movie was with that whole thing. But it would have done better, and I think it would have been more enjoyable. But at the end of the day, if you ask me the question posed as, would you prefer a Suicide Squad game or a Justice League game? It's Justice League 10 out of 10 times. I mean, that's what they should have done here.
Then it's a Justice League game.
I would have been out at that point with Suicide Squad, because it would be based on anti-heroes at that point, and I can't stand the trope of anti-heroes from way back when, with reading the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant back in the 80s from Stephen Donaldson. He kind of introduced the anti-hero character in that series of trilogies, and I just couldn't stand being in the space with someone with that kind of psychology. And when I'm used to heroic fiction, heroic films, Indiana Jones and all of that kind of stuff, and heroic gaming situations on tabletop and then into computer games, early computer games, you didn't have any of the bullshit you've got now. But Yeah, I just.
But an anti-hero is Riddick, the original. Like, what's it?
Chronicles
what's
of
it?
Riddick.
Pitch Black.
Not
Chronicles.
Pitch Black.
He's more of a swashbuckling rogue more
But
than
that
anything. He's a pirate trope, isn't
Anti-hero
it?
is still an anti-hero. Like, they've made the Suicide Squad the misguided good guys.
Yeah, it's this moral ambivalence that they reframe people into being worthy but misunderstood, or they're just flawed and society's turned against them.
I want to play the person that will rip your eyes out because you just looked at them down the street. If you want to do that, then play it.
Well,
you know, that's
in Marvel,
a nasty, like evil East Londoner in the 60s, bloody gang,
the craze.
Yeah, something like that. You look at me wrong, I don't care. I'm going to hit you over the head with a frying pan.
Well, in Marvel,
and then you're going to be pansexual.
Of the Punisher and Venom. It's like they both started out as bad guys, but they end up doing good overall. But the heroes disagree with their methods of achieving that good.
And I think that works better with Punisher than it does Venom. I do kind of firmly believe Venom should stay just a Spider-Man villain. I think that's when he's in his best. But I think Punisher is a great example of when an anti-hero does work well, because again, I do find him to be, I know what he, obviously, the way he goes about doing what he does is brutal and all that, and technically against law or common law, but he seems to come from a more place of actually wanting to be a hero, so I think it does work for his character better than a Venom, where Venom just would be a better villain.
Great example. It's owned by Disney now. Why are they not going to do anymore? There's the thing, because Punisher does do everything you say. Disney will not do that because they go against their.
It goes against their family image. It goes against their
family image. What family image? Now, that's the problem. Yeah,
great point.
But not just that. But not just that. He is a strong.
Just brought up another good example of Deadpool
character.
Yeah,
Deadpool's another good example.
Well, and I think if Deadpool makes $1 billion or $2 billion, everybody's going to say he's going to do well. I don't think he's going to do great, but I think it's going to do really firm amount of money.
Do better
even
than
Ryan Reynolds said, "I'm done," because they won't do another R-rated. Will Disney see the numbers and see the money and go, "We're going to give you another one"?
I don't think so, because you would have thought after they saw the numbers of Spider-Man No Way Home, they would have thought, oh shit, this is the trend. This is what people still want. And then they threw that right out the window, and all the goodwill started to go down and down with each one.
Yeah, but I think that the thing with that is they wanted Sony to give up the rights to Toby Maguire. What's his name? Toby
Maguire, right? But even aside from those characters and those actors, just in terms of telling that kind of superhero story, which is this type of superhero story that had gotten them through the first 3 phases of the MCU. So, well, I guess. When did they buy it? After Avengers. So the next 2 phases of the MCU pretty successfully. Even telling that kind of superhero story just is not of interest to them. They want to tell this morally ambiguous style of.
But that's come back.
Right and wrong is just
I think a lot of people forget that storyline is 5 years ago. Now it got production things through COVID, got delayed, and now it's being headed up. So what they passed, and then they go, "Oh, it's a bit late to cancel that."
Right.
It's things. Like the best thing is a good example, Blade. Blade, 5 years ago they announced it, and then it came out they were going to put Blade as the backstory, and it was all going to be about his daughter
or something.
And then they fucked it. I can't. To be honest, I really like the guy who's doing Blade. Was going to do Blade.
Mahershala.
Yeah. He's a great actor. I like him.
Very, very good.
I think he did quite good. Yeah, as a rehab, but you have to have Blade. If I'm going to see Blade, I want to see Blade. And he's now gone, F it. This isn't because, it's been too long. Maybe one thing, he's got other projects, but also he's got to probably look at that and go, no. But they can't do it because they've got this push of, I don't want, you got the main character, but we need to push these side characters because we may be able to do something with them. But I'm not monopoly. If you go to see Iron Man, I want to see Iron Man. And Iron Man wasn't the most popular character in the comic books. But if you go and see it, you want to see Iron Man. If you want to see Captain America, you want to see Captain America. You don't want to see, Falcon, whatever he's like, but he's Captain America. Like, that's going to bomb. Everybody knows it. Yeah, it's just what they're doing is like we had a great phase 1, phase 2, or whatever they want to call it, and now they're just going. Let's go on all the other characters that nobody's really heard of because we don't have any ideas, but we will tell them that it's great.
I think they should have just stopped making movies with the Avengers Endgame and just left it for 10 years and not done a phase 4.
Yeah,
some kind of break would have benefited them for sure.
Yeah, they had what they have. They have the X-Men, but then they changed it. Oh no, we can't. Like they had that whole crap about you can't call it X-Men.
Yeah, the X them.
EX.
The mutants or whatever. You have to call it the mutants. It's really offensive to people. And everybody was no, it means X-Men means something. And then they were like, what does it mean? You and then people like literally trounced them. And now it's gonna have to be brought back. And then they tried to do a little bit of a soft reboot, you know, with like that horror mutant thing was just about
the new mutants. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just stupid. And I was like, it could have been a great idea. And they just failed. And then, like, they just missed every opportunity. They have a broader Marvels on the wall here.
Yep.
But they just go narrative, like, oh, hold it. People have heard of that. Let's just stick with that. But they have the rights to like, anything Marvel. It's not just the Avengers. It's not just the X-Men. And it's a bit bizarre. They just go, no, we're gonna these characters that you don't know, or we're gonna give you a character that you do know, and then we're just gonna flip them, make them whatever,
right,
and then everybody goes, that's not the character I remember, like from back in the 90s or whatever, or like I watched in a cartoon once, and it's just bizarre. They don't know what they're doing. They stuck their head in the sand and let them live with it.
And honestly, I think it's a little bit mix of them not knowing exactly how to correct the ship or fix what they're doing. But I also think this points to Jack's point earlier, and I know Jack said this in previous weeks as well, where there is definitely a side of this where they are trying to force a change of people's way of thinking through these narratives, and they're using well-loved IPs to do so. Yeah. So it's definitely a mix, I think, of the two things where they've tried that so far that now they're struggling and realizing, oh shit, this isn't working. I don't know how to correct it. And then there's still another half of people in the studio who don't want to correct it. They want to keep pushing ahead.
More importantly, Jay, is that they are pushing the gatekeepers away, and they have to do that. Right. They have to get us, the guys who... Yeah, exactly. They've got to get rid of us first. And what's the best way to do it is just to disenfranchise us from our own
make us seem like
IPs.
Crazy people or assholes or all anything else they can throw at you. Yeah,
or pump out so much shit that we don't care anymore and just move on.
That's
that too. Try to destroy our will,
making it so we don't care what they do to it anymore. Because in our view, it will never be what we had.
Right, and then to a degree, it's working. Because like watching Acolyte last night, I found myself like, I don't even care about the originals and the prequels at this point. Point that I loved. It's like I don't even, if that was to be on TV right now, or I was to go like search for a movie to watch, like I wouldn't go back to those movies. And those used to be staples of things that I would watch repeatedly for comfort, for escapism, for whatever. And now I don't even want to touch those anymore because it's like they've left such a bad taste them. And that's their goal at the end of the day.
My colleague Iron Oxide said that exact thing last night on the show that we were on. He said, I don't even want to watch the originals anymore. Yeah. Anytime I see even old Star Wars merch, like from the original trilogy on the shelves, it makes me crawl inside myself, is what he said.
Yeah, 100%. I can completely agree with that. Yeah. But the thing is, like, you get the gatekeepers. Like, hey, Jay, you had one the other day who misquoted somebody on your Acolyte episode 1. And they tried to, like, probably bring you down of, like, a misquoting. Who was it? Duncan something?
They were misquoting somebody who was then also misquoting George Lucas, saying that there's air and space when I want there to be.
But the guy was so adamant that he was right. He went after you and then quoted it. And then the guy who was the author of the book then had to come out on Twitter, said, no, that's not what George Lucas said. It was this. And then even the guys even said, like, it's from somebody who met somebody else who met George Lucas. Right. But then the guy on your thing had to back it up with gatekeeping and had to defend himself even more, even when the person who was quoting came out and said he was wrong. Right. And he was like, oh my, but that's the problem is what you get now is even when you show these people sorry, you are fundamentally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if somebody went, who's the first ever Superman on TV? And then you would say it, and then they'd be like, no, it's not, it's that. And then they were like, no, look, I've got pictures, I've got everything, I've got the movies, blah, blah, blah. It's black and white. Then, you might not have seen it. No, you're wrong. And you're like, no, look, this is actual proof. I've dug it out. I've got even the director here going to talk to you. No, they won't listen to you because they literally believe in their little bubble. And then, I can't admit that I'm wrong. It's a very, if anybody's here worked in the industry of technology or engineering, if you work with Indians or Chinese, they will never admit they're wrong if you're working with them. It's a culture thing, but they will never admit they're wrong. Even when they are wrong and they do know they're wrong, they will never admit they're wrong. But that's come in to this culture of stream on the internet.
Well, the one thing that I will say about that is that humans are inherently sort of like that. And the thing is that it's very, very difficult to find the integrity within yourself to admit when you're wrong and to back down and go, hey, do you know what? I was wrong about that.
Yeah,
it's really difficult for a lot of humans to find the integrity within inside themselves. I don't know whether it's a cultural thing or not, but I mean, it's definitely a human thing.
I think it just especially online, maturity, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yep. It's a great mature quality to have, and an individual like that one in my comments, I very kindly dismantled his points in a nice way to try to keep a decent conversation going. And it got to the point where I responded once. Stasis came in and gave some backup to the kind of clarify the quote. He came back with another thing talking about like, oh, there shouldn't be sound in space either, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, there's a difference between sound effects. Yeah, he pulls out that he's some sound teacher. I'm like, all right, well, there's a very distinct difference between those scenes being silent and not being entertaining versus adding sound to them so you can overlook certain logical issues in terms of benefit versus story driven, like that fire in space triggering a flashback for it. Like, so very kindly dismantled the whole thing. Never heard from the guy again. As if he was going to say, like, not for nothing, he points out the George Lucas thing, he, she, whoever it was, points out like, oh, George Lucas said this. I'm like, I mean, if George Lucas is wrong, I can say George Lucas had no logic in his decision too. I'm not just going to say, oh, never mind, just because George Lucas said he wants it. I specifically said, I'm like, I've never heard that quote, but I find anybody who's using the reasoning of when I want to be lazy writing, plain and simple. I don't care if it's Tolkien, George Lucas, or whoever the hell wrote Acolyte. If that's your writing, that's lazy writing. I don't care who's saying it. I'm consistent.
Everybody's
on that.
got here the movie or TV show that they like or they love and they watch it over and again. That somebody else will go, that's a bit shit. And I got them ones that you will watch and watch again that you go, I like it. It's a piece of shit, but I do enjoy it. Everybody you have them ones as a smile. But then if somebody says to me, I don't like it because it's a piece of shit, I'm like, yeah, but I like it because it is. And then we can have that discussion. Like have that thing, and I will agree with them. Yeah, it is shit, but I kind of find it funny.
If I can interject on that exact point, is that this is my. I don't know whether anybody here is keeping up with what's going on with Eric July and the Rippaverse and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. This is my argument with that whole thing: is that there are IPs that people love, and there are IPs that people fucking hate. But their success is measured by their fan base, right? Mm-hmm. And just because you don't like Star Trek doesn't mean that it wasn't fucking successful. Right. Then you can't be happy for the creator's success. Yeah. And it's the same with the Rippaverse shit. You know what I mean? I don't even read the comics. I've got no interest in buying the merch. I don't care about it, right? What I'm more bothered about is this guy broke through. He's a breakthrough artist, and they simply cannot get it inside their fucking head. Oh, it's just a shit comic. That's your opinion. Right. That is it. It's your fucking opinion. He has made millions of dollars from his fans. These are the people who want to buy his shit. And I say the same thing about my content and my output, is that not everyone's going to agree with it. Not everyone's going to like it. But I make content that I like to watch, or at least I feel like it is going to, make me happy. And if other people like it, then those are the people who I want as my fans. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it.
But that's the that's the thing, is like 100%. Any one of us here, if we do a YouTube channel, Twitch channel, whatever, and that video does it. You know, that one video goes bang. Yeah.
Yep.
You can guarantee that you're going to get hate on it. Even though you might be right, you're going to get people that go, Jack, why the fuck have you now famous? Why are you earning money off YouTube? Look at you. You got a flat cap and you're having a fag online. All right, what the fuck is going on? You know, I can do better than you, and I'm sitting here and I've tried my hardest, but you got that break. Fuck you. No, I'm not having it. And that's what they think.
It's a vape pen, by the way. I just want to.
Well, fucking done, mate.
I just want to point out it's a vape pen, and I've not been smoking now for a month.
It's meth. Yeah. But that's what people think. It's not that. They can't understand that Jack. No, I'm sorry, Jack. I'm just shouting your name out here because you said the last thing. But you put the effort in. You put the heart, your soul in to make your channel big. Once it happened, you earned money, and you're like, fair enough. That's my family settled. I can do it. I've got to take the shit now. Yeah, fine enough, but you can take it. You can take it now. Knock on the back, go, yeah, don't care. But people, 90% of the people who watch my channel love me. That 10% who give you the crap are loudest than anything, but they will call you everything because they are jealous. That is it. It's not because you are what you're saying. It's because they think they are better than you because they can put in the effort. Then do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I will try it. You will try it. Tomby will try it and do something. I don't know what he's doing now, but we will try it. If it works, it works. But I do it, and people forget that. It's my rants, my ramblings, like I'm doing right now. I do it because I fucking enjoy it. Money is secondary. If it fucking comes in,
correct.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and you guys are awesome, and I really, really love it. If you're somebody giving me £1, I'm like, fuck me. I did not deserve that. I'm talking crap out of my mouth. But like, I love you guys,
I'll give you a quid to fuck you.
Yeah. Again, gone up to £2 from last week. But that's it. And people forget that. We have a love talking about the shit we love and the shit we have to out because it's crap.
Right. Yeah. And part of it too is they confuse subjectiveness with objectiveness. You can find art and entertainment to be subjective. In fact, by nature, it is. People are going to get different things, art, entertainment, whatever it is, whether it's us doing YouTube things or somebody creating something like Eric July, movies, TV shows, whatever it may be. It's all subjective. Some are going to like it, some aren't. There is an objective fact to success, whether you like it or not. You might hate our videos. You might hate somebody's comics. You might hate somebody's movies. But objectively, success is not something you can argue. You either have success or you don't. And just because your subjective opinion of somebody's work is that it's crap, and you can't understand why it's objectively successful, that's something you have to process in your own pea brain.
Yeah, that's not for us to figure out. Problem.
That's a you problem.
But I say, everybody's got here. They've come across a YouTuber or whatever on whatever platform. They go, "What a knob."
Yeah,
but you're like, he's got 1 million followers. She's got 1 million.
I do it when I'm watching my own content.
Wow.
That is actually true. I do that.
Wow. Stunning and brave.
No, but I just want to go back to what it was a comment that Boosh brought up, or that you highlighted just a short while ago that I think Boosh brought up, is that the problem that people have with admitting that they're wrong is that then people start dogpiling on them and they never shut up about it. You know what I mean? You're constantly having it rubbed in your face. And I guess, yes, that is something that you've got to deal with. And you've got to be a thick-skinned person to be able to have the integrity to admit when you're wrong, because you are going to get some backlash over it. Now, I'll give you an example, and going back to the Rippaverse stuff. I was absolutely adamant the other day about something that I was saying in a thread about something that happened at the Rippaverse meetup. And I, after it was explained to me what they were actually talking about, I went, shit, I'm fucking wrong. And I went back to them and I said, I'd like to apologize, because after I've reviewed the actual facts that weren't apparent to me previously, my own interpretation of the event, it led me to a wrong conclusion, and I'm sorry about that. And they were like, well, you know what, mate? You know, kudos to you because it takes an awful lot. You know, you don't get people admitting when they're wrong on this platform an awful lot. So kudos to you. And then someone came in and turned around and says, and you see, and that's why this and this and this is wrong as well. And I went, no, I was wrong about this one thing. Yeah, I was wrong about this one thing. It doesn't mean I'm wrong about fucking everything.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the point. You can be wrong about one thing and then and be right about like 90% of everything else you fucking said. But you got to have you got to have the ability to go look within yourself and go, shit. You've been ranting publicly and you're wrong. You've got to go back and apologize now, or you've got to admit that you're wrong.
Also, I have the right to say you're a see whatever you say. I have the right to say you're a see you next Tuesday. Yeah, I don't agree with it. But then if I keep on badgering you every week on every post, then I'm the knob. Then I'm the ever. We have a little rant, done, dusted. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But if I keep on going to you every day and getting that post, getting and manipulating it in some sort of way, then I'm the see you next Tuesday. And that's what people don't realize, especially with Average July. You have that kind of constant idiot that will do that. They are pointing him out just because he's gone successful. Yeah, I like you. Don't buy the merch. Don't care about the merch. We'll probably never buy the merch. But then I appreciate, well done. Look what you've done. To get that backlash. Why? Because he didn't like the comics he was originally reading and buying. You listening to that, it's absolutely think about what you're doing, move on.
Yeah. Right, anyway, unfortunately, the studio's Q1 financials are overshadowed by the tough competition at games following the great performance of Hogwarts Legacy and the disappointing release of Suicide Squad in Q1 in our gaming group, but that's just shite. It's the fact that 400 million plus year-over-year decline in Q1 reported in the company's earnings was primarily 400 million due to the very tough competition we faced in games. And I just don't believe it. They're
just make good games. Just make good games
that no one wants.
I just want to point out as well that if the original price tag was 150 million and they lost 200 million, they're in negative equity. So it's got to be more than 150 million that they spent on it.
Yeah, I think they're underreporting.
I would agree, Smo. I think they're underreporting these losses because based off what did Hannah say, it was something around like 400 total with marketing. They've got
450 total, 225 225 to 250 developing costs.
Wow.
Yep. The only thing that I guess is slightly okay is the fact that they didn't actually massively uglify Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she doesn't quite have the Harley Quinn look to me, but at least it's not what we've seen from a lot of other characters. I think the Perfect Dark character just came out recently, which has been making its rounds for some new Perfect Dark Zero game they're making. That's been an interesting one.
Yeah, most of the rest is just all fucking bullshit. But ultimately, Warner Brothers lost a shitload of money, and it's fucking funny as fuck. Yeah.
Well, and what's crazy too, and that article brings up the success of Hogwarts Legacy, is that they're doubling down and decided after finding out Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League lost so much and Hogwarts Legacy did so well, they just recently, I think a month or so ago, or maybe a little longer, came out and said they want to double down on this live service type of gaming that they're doing in the Suicide Squad version, which is like, I mean, at your own will, go ahead. But I feel like the math equation's already played out for you. I'm not sure why you're not respecting the answer here, but good luck.
Because they're idiots.
Yeah, you have to be to take on another loss like that again, but so be it.
Okay.
They failed their fucking math studies twice and then became finance minister. Oh, wait, never mind.
Right, moving on to the next item. We've got two things left to go through. I'm going to speed things up. We've got two things left to go through. The first of which is actually close to one of the panel members. Stasis Queef, are you there? I just want to see if he's here before I play it.
Stasis!
No, I think he went for a wank.
Yep.
Honestly.
Right, okay.
Sorry,
There you
my kid was crying. Give me 2 seconds. Just give me 2
Screw
seconds.
that! You got no.
Who said-
You
oh, go on
can't be a
then, go on then.
parent.
Go on
No,
then.
no, no.
Can't be.
Go,
Go on.
go sort your
Give me,
boy
give
out.
me like literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, go sort your boy out. It's fine.
38 seconds.
Because
Bloody
we can talk about all
parents.
sorts of other fucking shit anyway. But there's been quite a few things going on in the gaming sphere. How many people watched the
Sorry.
Xbox?
I just had to tell my girlfriend. I had the baby monitor. That's why. So he got a little bit of a an upset tummy this week. So
Did you
Bless.
run into the bedroom and just throw the monitor at
No,
you and say,
literally, I was
shit?
out there and I could. We're not that far. I'm outside, but it's like whatever 10 meters. So I was just there and I can hear still. So I was like,
Stasis.
oh god, like I just said, stasis.
Stasis.
Fucking hell.
At least you're not sitting there, right, in a really, really, really tight top, yeah, surrounded by all of your kids' squishy bears and everything, and you're sitting there in a pair of really, really short red shorts, and at least your kid didn't burst into the room and say, "Daddy, I want my toy back," and then you were caught.
You're not getting
camera
it
saying,
back.
"Get the fuck out of the room, you motherfucker! You're not getting your toy back. You're not supposed to be in here." At least that wasn't the case, mate. So.
I am lucky. I have a sound studio here, so it's quite
Curiously, Greg just put his camera back on as if he just finished his 38 seconds.
No, I went for a
Full of
smoke.
DSP. You went for a DSP.
lucky.
I went for a smoke. I don't smoke in the house, so I just took the
Right.
stream outside on my phone.
Status, do you want to give an intro to this?
Okay, this is my girlfriend's brand. Yeah, what we are relaunching. This is an older video because the new stuff is launching tomorrow on recklesswolf.com. It is a brand that she's set up after working for major lingerie brands. Koof screwed it up, so he took a big of like we went for our child and all that, and other things. My operation took a backseat. So this is an older video, but it will give you an insight of what happened. Now this got quite a good little hit, and I'm guessing a lot of Americans might like this. Now this was filmed in the UK at literally 2 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's all I'm gonna have to say about it. But go ahead and click.
Just tell me if you can hear it.
Ooh, I say.
Just 38 seconds. Be right back.
Christ, I bet they're fucking frozen.
Like nips like freaking.
Now, the funniest thing was the guy who did Matt, who did it. He borrowed. He was on the set of The Hobbit, and he was like, "Can I borrow your rig?" And he was like, "How much does this cost?" And we were like, he was like, "Oh, it can only cost this much, like over like 10 grand." And he slipped on the ice, and the camera went up in the air, and his literally assistant dived and caught it, and we were like, "Oh." We were up the top, and we were like, "Oh shit!" And he just stood up, gave the thumbs up, and we were like, "Oh my god!" And this rig literally looked like a transformer, but it was like that. But that was like, yeah, we had to get off the UK or England speed skaters, but yeah, it was quite a shoot doing it for like at the night. We had to get there at like 11 o'clock to set up, and they were still skating. And the reason they're black and white is girlfriend did a call out, and 2 different teams turned out, and when they fight, we had to cut it because 2 of them started an actual fight because it was 2 rival teams. We didn't know. That's why they were like, "We're in white, we're black, we're gonna do that." But 2 of them apparently in their last game literally went for it. So they went for it, and I've got the unedited version that's 8 minutes long, and they literally started kicking the shit out of him. So there's one that looks like he's got like an overdone cut. It's because he hit him with his glove and probably scraped off the skin, and it was just like, oh my!
Christ.
So yeah.
So Stacey, I got to ask. So what is the link between the lingerie and the ice hockey? I wasn't getting that.
Okay. So when it was quite a funny thing. So my girlfriend lived in Boston for a while, so she supports Boston Bruins.
Got you.
Yep. So
smart girl.
Yeah, smart girl. And when we first met, I support Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
And I've always done from the early 90s, and they're rivals.
I'm a Vancouver Canucks fan.
Yeah. So you know, like Bruins, Canadians don't like each other, so we used to watch. We used to go to the games like that, like in the UK, Coventry and all that, Blaze, quite a lot. And then she was like, "Look, we're really into our ice hockey. Should we do an ice hockey one?" And then I was like, "How the flipping heck are you gonna do an ice hockey?" She's like, "I'll work it out." So she just wings it and works it out, and that's why.
Well, this is all I'm about. I mean, ice hockey and boobs and lingerie. Yeah. Fuck me, yeah, that's
we've got other ones
for me right there.
We've got other ones like a biker gang there. The biker gang one was actually really sad. We had a gang from, I think it was a Warwick, an actual biker gang. They like Harley Davidson biker gang. And
they do actually the Bulldog Bash, don't they?
Yeah, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it." Yeah, and we got this guy who is a private thing, and we were speaking to the president of this gang, and he was a lovely guy. You wouldn't sit down with him and have a drink because he could turn, but he was a lovely guy, one of those guys. And then we were like, "Okay, we're gonna get this bike out." Jay, what is going on? She was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it," and I was like, "Okay." So like we were there, and we were like, "Well, they're a bit late." And bless them, literally. So we heard these Harleys coming up. You can hear them from a mile away, can't you? And then they all got there, and we were like, "Oh, where's the I can't remember the guy's name now. Sorry, I do apologize. But they turned up, and then like they were a bit morbid, and they were like a bit like
no, the president of the chapter passed
away the night before, and he ordered them just before he died. Is like, you do not let these guys down. So all the rest of the chapter turned up, and we were like, for fuck, look, we cancel it, and they went, nope, he's ordered us before he died. And he was like, the guy the night before. So like the one you'll see, we got on there, like behind the scenes.
You see, biker gangs get a really bad rap, but they're fucking honourable.
Oh yeah, they were great guys. They were like proper, like they were like, because you have to be careful, like, and honestly, like most of the stuff we do, like girlfriend does, it's like men and the women. But the women, of course, look at that. You're like in the freezing cold. And like that, so you have to be careful, like you know, you have to like, you know, all the men, like everybody we work for, very respectful. There's nothing wrong with it, and like they get like and like the gut, like the biker one, they got a bad rep, and I was like, but they were awesome guys, had a lot of fun, and it was just like, you know, everybody got to ride around on their bikes and I was like, for fucking hell, your president died the night before, and they were just like, no, we're gonna honor it, blah blah blah, and they were like, we'll have a laugh. This is to celebrate his life, you know, and it's good for you guys, you know, and it's, you know, we don't get to do anything like this, but he wanted to do it. He was so hyped, you know, it was like that. And I met after like. Mrs. got from his missus, like, you know, this is what he wanted. He was looking forward to it, so it was good that everybody else could do it. So yeah,
that's incredible, mate.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but hopefully, as a you know, I'm just glad this year the Bruins didn't make the final.
That's all right. We still got the Celtics going. We're doing all right.
Right, final item for the night before we wrap it up. Let's watch this, and then we'll have a quick couple of minutes talking about it, and then we're going to wrap it up. So enjoy.
This is how you do a trailer.
Nice.
This is how you do a fucking trailer, guys.
That's actually the first time I've seen it, and that looks awesome.
Yeah.
I want to play it now, like right now.
There's so many good bits about it.
Shut up and take my money.
Right? Good.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, how many people have played Doom in the last couple of games, and the music is just fantastic.
I love the soundtrack of Eternal
in that trailer.
Banging, absolutely banging. Fits the game so perfectly. And I mean,
Like
some of the things.
The trailer kind of reminds me of Serious Sam, which in and of itself was inspired by Duke Nukem and Doom.
Duke Nukem. Yeah,
I mean,
there's just so
and-
many good little things in it. The skull being crushed down into bullets.
Yeah, that
Yup.
stood out to me there. That was pretty cool. That's
Yup.
pretty on brand.
And
That's
then you've
awesome.
got the Captain America shield that you can see whizzes off and then bounces back at a different angle, just cutting things down.
With the
mean,
chainsaw around it. That's
Captain
nice.
America wishes he had that shield.
Yeah.
by the
Yeah,
way.
chronologically, Doom Guy is now the superior Captain America because he has a chainsaw shield and Captain America doesn't. Fucking pussy.
I like that.
No, that's great. That looks awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on that one.
I mean,
pretty rad.
we can now reuse the meme from the previous game. Money is temporary, but Doom is eternal.
Yeah.
Did you catch the Gundam bit as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Giant right there.
He turns into a giant.
Oh, I actually didn't even catch that
With
the
the
first time
sword.
through.
Yeah.
With a
That is
sword.
awesome.
Yeah, and fights this fucking skyscraper-sized demon and just beats the fuck out of it.
Not for nothing, as we had a
Fuck
discussion earlier on some of the things wrong with gaming, this is just about everything that's good about gaming. I mean,
Yeah.
that looks brilliant.
I mean,
So many
if you kill the audio for the trailer, Tomby. So immediately, like, okay, so we add the Viking style fur coat, we give him a fucking shield. The shield is a fucking chainsaw. Immediately better gameplay.
You know, this trailer reminds me of the old school Microsoft showcases that they used to do when Microsoft
Yes.
understood how marketing works, and that's legit what Microsoft used to do. They gave you a fucking kick-ass trailer to get you hyped for the fucking game, and that's how they used to do it. And that's the kind of shit I love about trailers like this. It's like, don't show too much. At least you've got gameplay going on. That's what
And
I
that's
actually like
key.
about this. And
Yep.
that's the key. Show actual gameplay, not fucking CG.
Oh,
all
I'm
the time.
so
Yeah,
tired of
the
the
shield,
cinematic
baby.
announcement trailers. It's just, it does nothing for me. I'm not
It
watching.
was
a movie,
captured
I'm
in
playing the
engine.
video.
I don't give a shit. Like, show me fucking gameplay, like proper
Right.
gameplay.
I think that's what they do when they're trying to hide a game that they know has shit gameplay and they just want to sell you on the IP, like the Captain America Black Panther game, for example.
Yep.
That was an entirely cinematic trailer. You saw nothing worth of gameplay, and it's like, okay, what's supposed to get me hyped on this other than the IPs, of which I'm sure you'll butcher story wise, anyways.
Yep.
I hope that the multiplayer is good on this.
Yeah,
I've
that'd
not
be nice.
played multiplayer on the 2 latest Doom games.
Because
Well,
it has
wait.
none.
It doesn't have
It
it.
doesn't? Alright.
Nope.
Fuck.
I mean, that's a lie. There is a multiplayer, but it's not a co-op story. It's just if you want to beat the fuck out of
Yeah,
each other. for
deathmatch.
fun.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Multiplayer when it comes to Doom, it's just a deathmatch game. We'll capture the flag,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know if they've got any of those modes in the in Doom 2016 and the Doom Eternal. So
No, Yanni, we are looking forward to Doom because again,
See you later,
money is temporary, but Doom is eternal.
Indeed. Right. Let's call it. Let's call it a day. Smooth
Yeah.
DJ, what have you got coming up, my friend?
Well, we're playing Monster Hunter tomorrow, right? Or did that change?
What day is it today?
Wednesday?
I think I'm losing track myself.
Or are you playing WoW tomorrow? If not, then I'll probably just. Well, in case you know,
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
movable feast.
yes. So, first of all, thank you very much indeed for watching, guys. This has been a great show. Again, couldn't really contribute much to the Acolyte, but there will be topics where I can actually talk more about things, and other times I can't. But as you can see down below in my name, I actually have a little link going on for my Streamlabs donation side because I want to finance a trip to the United States. I mean, Io, the crazy woman that she is, already financed a lot of the trip on my birthday stream that I did the other day. And I want to make sure that I collect a little bit more funds. So if you can help me out a little bit, here's the Streamlabs link. I'm just going to add it into the chat here. Just all goes into my pocket, so I'll make a good use of that. And yeah, what else do I have coming up? I mean, playing with the Muppets tomorrow, and well, probably Final Fantasy 14 on Sunday, unless there's a change of plans there. But that's what I'm going to do. Saturday, I'm probably gonna do a catch up for 14, so I'm on par with Tomby when it comes to quests, so we can just smoothly transition into Sunday with that. And well, I'm going to be back to work as of next week, so you will probably see a stream on a Wednesday of me playing Metal Gear Rising, actually, because I want to switch up the gameplay a little bit and play something else for a change. I think you'll enjoy it because it has a very similar kick-ass soundtrack to Doom Eternal. It doesn't come close to Doom Eternal, but the soundtrack is great regardless. Other than that, not much else going on. Just, check out the Twitter. That's why I usually post what I'm going to do next, or just check the community tab on my YouTube channel, Smooth the DJ. That's it.
Happy days. Greg.
Hello. I was just looking at my calendar. I've got nothing streaming coming up. But in other news, I'm going to be at Download this weekend.
The Download Festival?
Yeah. On the Saturday. I'm just going for the day.
Are you young enough to go?
Well, I'm getting a pass, so yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm going to be in the guest, enclosure by the side of the stage and stuff, so it's going to be
awesome.
Cool.
Sounds awesome. You also need to get beta installed, World of Warcraft.
Do I need to do a separate install?
Yes.
But I'm not going to have time. I may have 1 or 2 days to stream, but basically getting a new floor installed in the downstairs next week. And then I've got family coming from New York and from Holland, and that's my dad's 94th birthday, and they're staying for a week. So I'm not going to be streaming much for the next couple of weeks. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's all good. Right. Status Geek has had to disappear off and sort his kid out, but I'm going to pretend that I am Status Geek. So what have I got coming up next? My name is Status Geek, and I'm kind of gay. I'm going to try and finger Abe with a couple of fingers of olive oil, and amongst other things, I'm going to sort out the wife's website and a Reckless Wolf coming out. So make sure you pop across, look at the skimpy knickers, and buy some stuff. Cheers. Thank you very much indeed. Over to Jack.
Hello there. You can find me on Twitter at JackTarLad, where I'm usually shit posting all day long. You can check out my channel on YouTube. It's all the same thing. Check out my Twitter bio. I've got the link tree there for all of my links. I am also running some sub goals at the moment because of inflation in the UK. I am trying to fund a trip to McDonald's. So my current sub goal is £1,000. So if you can help me to reach that sub goal to get to McDonald's, it doesn't really matter, mate.
How many nuggets?
2. I think that's enough for a 2 nugget meal now. So if you can help me and my daughter get to McDonald's for Father's Day, that would be really great. But other than that, thank you for having me on the show. Thanks for joining us in the chat, and we'll see you next time, guys. Oh, don't forget, you can catch me a little bit later on the Common Nerds channel for Winding Down Wednesdays, which is going to be 2 hours later than usual tonight. We'll be on at 2 o'clock in the morning British time. That's 8 o'clock Central in the US. So come and check me out there, and I may be on Iron Oxide's Rogues Gallery stream this Friday. So yeah, come and check me out and do the stuff with things.
Sounds awesome.
Stick a thumb up there.
Stick a thumb in it.
2 fingers. 2 fingers. 2 fingers.
Spock it. Jay, what are you up to, my dude?
To be honest, the schedule's a little flexible this week because I got a few real life things going on that I got to take care of. But you can expect definitely I actually still have to do my Acolyte episode 2. I'll finish it up and get it out there for the reviews. But 3 will be coming out as well. Most likely some gaming. And there's a few people between Stasis, Sandy Q, Dealbreaker, Hanayama, Smooth that we're all I've got a few things cooking. So we're going to try to hopefully get some more kind of structured schedules out so I can get some more kind of different types of shows and streams for people to watch. So a lot coming up, but in the more immediate future, it's going to be a little bit flexible. So you'll kind of see things pop up as they come up.
Yep. Make sure you're subbing to all the guys. I'm throwing up links as we go.
Such a nerd takes. Let's get into 500, guys. Let's go.
Hanayama,
Yeah, that'd be great.
what are you up to, my dude?
For right now, the usual business, because like I've done the one tweet for the Acolyte review, which is again the Acolyte, the Shite is fucking dog shit and nobody should bother. I'm not sure I will continue to fucking waste my time, even if it's just 30-minute episodes to watch that garbage. I'm done. I can spend even 30 minutes doing more productive shit. And yeah, in the meantime, it's the usual business, shit talking at Twitter. The handle is currently on display. And outside of that, working in the background on some smaller projects that may or may not pop up in the not so distant future.
Mm-hmm.
Things are happening. Yeah.
Oh no!
I think we can also confirm that the box of PC components has made its way to Smoo.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is great news. So hopefully, in the not too distant future, you're going to be able to obviously
by the end of next week, it should be in your hands.
Open it up and get your PC up and running, my dude.
Are you going to do another build stream, Tomby?
I'm not. Hanayama is.
Yeah, but I'm not going to stream it. I'm just building shit.
Yeah, I've sent all spare components, as many spare components I had, over to Hanayama to get a working PC up and running.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do try. We do try. Unfortunately, that means he is going to be on the internet a lot more. But
Oh no!
What do you mean a lot more? I'm like,
what happened?
There could not be any less time of me here.
Rex,
What do you mean?
Abe, what you got coming up? Anything interesting on your agenda?
Nothing really, no. Hopefully be here again next week. Shout out to Daily Dysfunction as always.
Simp! Simp! I hear a simp! Get him!
Mm-hmm.
Hans?
Hans, the simp!
Yep,
Woman in the
that's it.
cacker!
Everyone's just gone. Oh, Abe is sweet. Fucking
That's so
Daily-
cute, it makes me want to puke.
the Daily Dysfunction has just simply got a mouth open on the fucking.
She's overwhelmed by the shout out, guys. She's overwhelmed by the shout out.
King Simp, first of his name.
Hey, now. Yeah, that title belongs to MCU fan, Tracy. That's unfair.
No,
Oh well, yeah, that is true.
no, good. It was good to have you on the show again, Abe. Looking forward to next week's. And for Tomby, so what's Tomby got coming up? I'm actually going to be playing Cyberpunk in around about 35 minutes. Yeah, so I thought, do you know what? I haven't played it. I haven't played Cyberpunk in over a week, so why not? Let's do some Cyberpunk. Tomorrow, going to be doing some Monster Hunter with Smoothie DJ. Some Friday.
Yes,
Saturday
sir.
is going to be some World of Warcraft beta, hopefully with the War Within. If not, we're going to be carrying on with the Mists of Pandaria remix, which is currently the time what's the word? Fucking time limited.
Timey-wimey?
Yeah, time limited event that's currently going on. Sunday is going to be Final Fantasy 14 amongst other things, but until then, guys, thank you ever so kindly to the panel. Thank you ever so kindly to Steel Leg of History, and to Andy Matthews, and to Dara over on Rumble for all the Rumble rants. We will catch you all soon, guys. And with that, we are done. Ciao for now.
Bye.
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 Papa.
Bye-bye.